like trolls at this point, especially when it comes to franchise mode, because that mode has nothing to do with them. I could see if it was somebody that's on our side saying dumb shit, but he's always gonna say stupid shit regardless. No matter what you say to him, it's like W's always gonna say dumb shit. So it's like
Well, he's
that's low hanging fruit.
well, he's gonna continue to get rash because
Yeah,
he
that's what
looks
I'm saying. It's like
his pen
it
looks
gets
like a thumb, and he's a fucking idiot.
yeah
He said he
yeah
looks like a
yeah.
thumb.
And a
Yeah, I'm
shitty
saying.
player.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a never-ending roast with him. I mean, it's no to me, it's no reason because he's always gonna be dumb. Nevertheless, this is 163 of the First and Framerates podcast. Myself, Bill's fourth, DJ 81. We're back again. Pooh already has a question in the chat. We'll get in that in a little bit. Um, we just chugging right along, moving our way towards 175, 200. Everybody who's been subscribing to the channel for the content, we appreciate it. You guys, I hope you guys use that same energy. Move over there to Bills and DJ's Twitch and also the DJ's channel.
Hold on, give me
And
3 minutes. I'll be right back. I gotta restart my computer again.
all right, that's
Oh,
fine.
gotcha.
And we can use that same energy and spread the wealth and spread the love to everybody who's making content. Uh, Nevertheless, I mean, we're going to talk about Madden franchise notes. We're going to talk about NBA 2K21, the next gen approach. Scott O'Gallagher's here. I know he may not be able to confirm or deny what I'm going to put out there. It's probably already public anyway, but nevertheless, we're going to talk about that. And $70 games. I think 2K right now, Take Two is the only one that's doing $70 games. But we're going to talk about the concept and the history of $70 games.
Mhm.
With that being said, Bills, you still there? You gone? I think he's gone, but he's still in the thing. DJ, what's going on with you, man?
And not much. Just started up the new job this week. I'm 2 days in, so days have been going by like pretty fast. So it's actually pretty good. Instead of just being home and trying to stay safe, now I'm just trying to be safe while I'm at work.
Yeah, you
And
got to when you out there, man.
yeah, and I pretty much had to drive through that tropical storm just to get there this morning. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's just all right. It went like right past South Carolina because I thought we was gonna get hit with it, but nope, we got lucky. Well, so we'll let Bills do his intro once we come back in. So everybody who's here already, we really appreciate it. Hit the like button, share, let people know what we're doing over here. If you haven't, not only just subscribe here, subscribe to DJ's channel and follow him on Twitch. We're out here just trying to make gaming, fun, make it appropriate, make it non-rage. We're actually trying to have fun over here. So nevertheless, man, on my end, I just really been enjoying a lot of games. I think I'm starting to enjoy racing games more than I'm enjoying any other genre right now. I've been playing Project Cars. I've been playing Ride 3. I've been playing Gran Turismo Sport. I've always been playing Forza 1, but I have other racing games I've been trying to get into as well. Racing games is just it's as far as sports games go, I think racing games are the cream of the crop when it comes to the crafting and programming of games. They do a phenomenal job of doing them, and it may be a little easier to do those type of games, but I think it surpassed MLB The Show as the closest sim game, and I don't think any other game is any closer at this point. But outside of that, I've just been playing other stuff. I've just been having a blast, and I think I'm just going to continue with that approach because I've been going back and forth with things outside of gaming that kind of discourage people, this community in general. And I'm not just talking about sim or just, football or basketball. It's just too many Debbie Downers out here. And it's so many of them. It's so easy to just, look at it and just have that mindset or just have that in the back of your mind. And I think a lot of us need to just, I think that's where we come in as a podcast. We actually just try to play the games. We'll point out what's going on, but at the end of the day, we still try to have fun with what we have. And I think a lot more people need to do that. I mean, everybody can't be AVGN. You know what I mean? Everybody can't be mad all the time. And if you're mad all the time, I just highly recommend you just play something else or don't play at all. But as far as gaming, that's where I've been at. What about you, DJ?
Well, I've been mainly just playing State of K2 for I think the past couple of days. I know I played it on my stream on this past Wednesday, in which this Wednesday or tomorrow I'll probably be doing more State of K2. It seems
And
like that.
you're enjoying it, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
saying.
been fun.
Exactly.
Like it definitely satisfies the resource management aspect of my skills. So I definitely just look at that.
Right. It's like Scott O'Gallagher said it's bad. It is. It's really bad. Like you have a lot of games out there, and I'm not even talking about newer games. You got a lot of. Where do you get those gloves from?
Uh-oh. I hope those aren't OJ's gloves.
No, he got my wife. He got my wife kitchen gloves, and he has them on his hand. My wife must have put it on him. Well, anyway,
get away with something and put gloves on.
No, it's just that I'm not even talking about just like newer games. I mean, you can add those in it, but it's just games in general. A lot of these games are put together fairly well. Yeah, we could talk about certain patches that need to be done in games, but overall, the majority of these games are very playable, and you can have your personal enjoyment with them. And a lot of people just don't do that anymore. Maybe it's just me looking at Twitter too much. I don't know.
Well, I look at it like this: that one person that hit the dislike button can kick rocks. Barefooted.
Exactly. I mean, I've been telling people. Okay, his glove came off. Come on, there you go. We'll put it back on. Yeah, but what I was saying is that even if click the dislike button, people don't realize that that's a sort of engagement. That still raises the probability of people watching the channel. It still goes up in the algorithm for people to find us. Mm-hmm. So I mean, do what you do. But nevertheless, it's like I said, it's a lot of games out here. I mean, even you can find your fishbowl in Madden at times. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah, there's gonna be times you're gonna be upset, but how long? You have some people out here that are upset year round. I'm like, dude, why are you spending money on these games? But right, and we're just killing time before Bills get here. He just walked back in. So, Bills, how you been? What's been going on with you?
I've just been watching the NBA restart, enjoying that a lot. Played a little 2K today. Wasn't too bad. At this point, I've played close to 30 hours. I mean, 30 days total. So I'm burnt out.
Right.
But yeah, just been chilling. Same thing, different day.
Yeah, that's a ball.
Ready to roast a couple people today. One of these weeks I'm not gonna have any material, right? I mean,
no, you will, because like we said earlier about some particular person before we started, they're always going to say dumb stuff. You're going to have material.
It's like a weekly segment at this point.
Well, apparently one of the people that provided the material is on this podcast.
The roast isn't so much you; it's people that were trying to make your point that said some really stupid shit. I agree with what you said fundamentally, but you didn't say anything like stupid. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, so nevertheless, I mean, like I said, on deck we got Madden franchise notes, NBA 2K21, what they're doing next gen. Also, we're going to talk about $70 games, something that the DJ was alluding to. We'll talk about that. Well, let's get into this Madden thing, because Madden actually talked about some improvements for Madden 21 and 22. Let me see. Did I pull that up? Where did I put that? I'll find it. Yeah. I had it on this tab, and I just killed the tab. So he gave me.
Yeah. And I'll put it in the chat for people of
people watching it.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Let's see. Boom. Where did you put it at, DJ? I mean, Bills. Oh, private chat. No, where you put it?
Hey, man, I got a question.
It's in the DM, but you got to scroll a little bit.
Yeah, I got a question. how come you get us crossed up every time you refer to one of us? You call me Bill, you call him DJ. So like
I don't
half the
know.
time,
I don't, I don't,
it's like my grandmother. Half the time she calls
I,
me like several names before
I,
she gets
I,
to mine.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I plead the fifth. I have no idea what you're talking about.
My
I plead
my
the fifth.
grandmother has this thing where like she be like DJ. Actually, I have an uncle named DJ. He'd be like DJ Ricky, Derek. I'm like,
Somebody with too much free time is gonna find every time the VF called me.
Yeah, somebody's going to find it, but I'll still deny it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Noble says VFB drunk.
Oh
Where
my
is this
God.
thing? I cannot find it. Where did I put
Bro,
it?
it's in the you can't.
I don't see it in the DM. That's why I'm looking somewhere else.
Aren't you? Oh, you don't even
Yeah,
have to
I'm
use.
looking and I'm scrolling up and I keep passing it for some reason.
I got you. I got you. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it again. There it goes.
Oh, I passed
There it
it.
goes.
There it is.
It's in there
Okay,
again. I just sent it again.
great. All right, cool. There we go. No wonder I was looking for the Lamar Jackson picture instead of the actual Madden 21 thing.
Oh,
One thing I will preface this with is a lot of people are going to be way more interested in what they have planned next year, which I
Yeah, because I mean, you got to think about it. This whole hashtag started late, and I mean, the game was pretty much about finished when this hashtag started. So
well,
I didn't expect too much to be happening in 21 anyway.
well, if you think about it, the hashtag was really only in a response. It wasn't something like people knew ahead of time. Nobody knew they were going to just try to slip some patch notes for franchise news when they first was going to drop franchise news. So
Right,
I'm like,
exactly.
so obviously it was going to be like, okay, well, we'll slip this franchise news. They get mad. Hopefully down the line we'll be able to say, hey, we'll try to get some stuff in there, but next year.
Okay,
Even
so
though,
these are
even
the
though, even though the year before you said you were recommitting, but that's a different story. All right, go ahead.
okay, these are the four things that they said that they was going to update regarding franchise mode the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
One is going to be our franchise team. They're going to talk about what they did with that. Madden as a live service, which I'm kind of weary about that.
Mm-hmm.
High level franchise commitments in Madden 21 and 22, and your involvement as a community. Well,
Oh,
that last one, I'm not even following up that.
oh,
It's very simple with the last one. You deliver what you have to deliver, and you won't have to worry about the community being too much involved. Our franchise team, I'm going to paraphrase all it because I'm not going to sit here and just read all of this. Basically, they're saying that they're making changes, dedicating a high percentage of team bandwidth to deliver the greatest investment in core franchise features. So basically, throughout Madden 21 and 22, they basically built the team up to have more dedication and more investment to the mode itself. So in other words, we may see more stuff.
AKA their whole reshaping of franchise that they promised was bullshit until we said something. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much because it's like
Yep.
they finally putting more people on it. So I mean, whatever happened at the end of Madden 19 or going into Madden 20 is just BS.
Bro, this shit's funny. July 2019, we're making a commitment to franchise.
Right,
August
exactly.
2020, we're making a commitment to franchise.
Right, exactly.
Said it 2 years in a row. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it says Madden as a live service. We operate Madden NFL as a true live service. I'm going to talk about that in a second. It says that means we deliver content features, heck, even new modes sometimes, which was irrelevant. They should have never done that.
They found a way to sneak Superstar KO into this log.
That's what I'm saying.
But hold on, though, because what they're doing, they're low key telling on themselves. Now, if you're saying that Madden NFL is a true live service, why haven't you passed anything in the franchise in the past years?
Right, exactly. The thing about that, Bills, is when I found out they put in Superstar KO, I knew I was really done with really hoping for franchise add additions. Because if you're willing to put a whole new mode in the game in the middle of the year, you mean to tell me we can't get basic stuff that we want in franchise? Like a lot of people don't realize we tried to tell this to Beast when Beast was trying to come at us he was on the episode. It was like, look, we're not asking nobody to give us extra stuff. We're not asking you to reinvent the wheel. We're asking you to give us the wheel because this is stuff that was there before,
And then don't get me started on the people that wanted to have the mode monetized and for people to pay extra to get stuff in the franchise mode. I shot 2 of those people down, and one of them has me
Oh, I
blocked.
thought you were gonna say you shot 2 of them. I was like,
I mean, like Hollywood is a big proponent of paying for franchise.
He would be number 3 because I wasn't even thinking about him.
Hollywood is the first person I've seen advocate to pay for franchise.
But you know what? He probably shoot me with that taser that he carries or whatever.
He carries a taser. I thought he just had a whistle.
We're not gonna get on Hollywood Bosworth today with that damn.
Wow.
That damn haircut he got.
No, man, he was caping hard the other day though. But
you don't have the right challenge.
I digress on the caping that he did. He wore 2 capes that day, but nonetheless,
that's a person that truly went corporate.
Yeah, so we're talking about the other things that they added. They said the game you buy on launch day is the beginning of the annual Madden NFL 21 journey.
Which basically means you guys know the game is never finished when we put it out.
And like I said, with the live service thing, I'm gonna speak on that in a minute once I finish this paragraph. Our commitment to you is to deliver a meaningful change to the game throughout the year. In Madden NFL 21, we expand our dedicated live service to the team to allow more focused delivery of franchise improvements based on your feedback, while continuing to evolve the broader game for our wide cross-section of Madden fans. All right, what I meant by live service, I never had a problem with the game evolving throughout the year. I've been a big proponent of stop using numbers on a yearly basis. Just continue to give us football with the right improvements. That I don't have a problem with the live service side. What I don't like is the live service that you're like basically trying to cater to everybody, like with the back end said, while continuing to evolve the broader game for our wide cross section of Madden fans. Just improve on the sport and what entails in the front office and on the field. You don't have to cater to people. Like if you have a bug in the game or something's wrong, yeah, but to like say, oh, I want to be able to do this, and this with a linebacker, the motherfuckers get backhanded and get the fuck out of here. I don't have time for that.
But here's my thing though, VF. It's like, weren't we told at the beginning of this generation that we weren't going to have to hear anymore? We couldn't get to it because it's going to be continuous development.
Pretty much.
That's what the Ignite engine was supposed to do.
Yet every year we've heard we can't get to it. Now all of a sudden you put manpower. Mind you, on the last year of a console generation, you put manpower on a game that's damn near been the same. I mean, I'm not going to do the whole, it's the same every year. But as far as the engine, it's been the same. Every year, for the longest, you've been able to, let's be honest, commit more manpower to improving franchise throughout the year. But it took a hashtag for y'all to finally actually dedicate people to franchise. It's utterly ridiculous. You literally signed an analytics guy from the community named Swami to your fucking team. And the dude has sat there and twiddled his thumbs and fucked up the ratings. And, you know, that's what his job has been at EA for the past year and change, and now all of a sudden you say, oh, we're going to commit to franchise now and we're going to do it during the year. Yeah, you should have been doing that. You said continuous development was a thing. You can bring the commentators in and you can have them update their commentary.
Well, Bills, this is the thing. This is not hard. This is why it's an outrage for franchise. You literally took things out from Madden 12, Madden 11, Madden 10, Madden 25 in some cases.
Madden
17. That's what I'm saying. You're literally taking things out of the game that was in franchise mode, and the only thing they really truly added that was different was the practice squad. And y'all want to know something about
the engine, which didn't really expand at all.
That was not needed. I will put it like this: you don't need those type of things if you have an honest ratings progression system like you had 2 generations ago. But I digress. The practice squad, a lot of people don't know, the practice squad has been in Madden for 13, I would say 14 years. It was on Madden 07 for the PSP. And they finally got it into a consoleized Madden in Madden, 17? They finally got – y'all do realize that practice mode in franchise was taken out from Madden 12 all the way up to damn near Madden 16 or 17, and finally put that back in.
Well, you know, once Clint got a job on the gameplay team as a big time leader, that he had to put the only time that he played football in the NFL into the mode. So, I mean, that's obviously why it's being put in. I mean, come on.
Right. And I was saying, like practice, like the practice squad was way back then, and he finally put that in. And then, it's stuff like that. We're not, like I said, we're not asking you to give us extra stuff. We're not asking you to reinvent the wheel. Just give us the other wheel so we can drive our carriage. You give us 3 wheels for the past 15 years. And I mean, you wonder why we're all pissed off about this stuff. It's like, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. So with the live improvements throughout the year, I'm okay with that, but just keep it football. You don't have to cater because little Johnny's mad because his linebacker can't tackle from 5 yards away. We don't care about that. High level franchise commitment to Madden NFL 21 and 22. So to that end, we're sharing you some of the areas and franchise. Okay, all right, we're going to get to that. Post launch
part where they said we can't really promise anything, but here's what we're thinking. That's pretty much what the paragraph says.
Yeah. Based on community feedback, this is subject to change. Madden NFL 21 post launch support. All right, y'all brace yourself for this. With each update, this list may shift our plans for 21 and 22 to come more into focus. We will share with the community as it evolves. Tuning. We already know that. That's basically.
We already got tuning for the patch notes.
Exactly. So
hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
I was out for a little bit because I was trying to say something. I was wondering why you kept talking through me if my mic was out.
Oh man, we didn't hear you. My bad.
Yeah, that's what No, it's not your fault. You didn't hear anything. I got it. I was like, damn.
We got commissioner tools. We will talk about in a little bit. AI personnel management. The AI will make better team management decisions in the draft, free agencies, and trades.
Stop right there.
That's long overdue. I'm stopping with you. That's long overdue. I'm with you.
I like those, but they need to add depth chart for the AI personnel as well. Because, like I said, you don't see quarterbacks get benched enough. You don't see players get benched enough based on performance. So
that's the thing. Like, I can literally go play NCAA 08 or Madden 08, and if a quarterback throws 2 or 3 interceptions, they're benching them. And especially in the college game, they do it a lot in the college game. They're like, the coaches in the college game ain't playing around. If you're not playing good, the AI coach will pull the player. So that's nothing. That's I don't know why they just didn't take that.
Guys lose their jobs all the time throughout the season in the NFL. It's just what happens.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Playoff and Super Bowl presentation. I'm not worrying about that. I mean, I never really technically had a problem with it, so I'm not okay. I'm not a big deal. X Factor, superstar ability customization. That's long overdue.
I know that was a big proponent for Bills.
That outside the mode, they're putting it into the mode where I think it would be less needed. I want it outside the mode. Inside the mode, I don't want to be able to. I mean, I guess it would be nice to adjust every teams, but then you can pretty much handicap every team if you really want to.
Yeah, pretty much. You
should be able to do it outside the mode, not so much inside.
Shoot, I would have it to where I would have nobody with any X factors. Everybody would have to earn theirs.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe
just give everybody superstar abilities and start from there.
Yep. Start with superstar abilities and just limit who has these superstar abilities. That would be interesting.
That would be a start. Retirement, you own trade logic, more fidelity, depth, and authenticity. I want to see how that plays out.
Career stats.
That is. That's career stats. Oh, I skipped that. I'm sorry. Career stats UI. Improve UI showing historical player performance. More immersion and depth on how players have progressed in your franchise.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, and I hate to keep going back to this. One thing I will say about the older Maddens, they did stats was everything in Madden. Like, you can go back, they will have stuff from them, when you cut on the game, they will have their stats from previous seasons, and they were accurate. NCAA 14 did a pretty good job with this with their record books. Like, you can go to Toledo and find out who's the leading rusher of Toledo, and it will be accurate if you look it up in the books. Like, so that's a big deal if they want to keep up with the careers of people. I'm with that. Trade logic, that's something in Madden. I don't even think the AI actually ever traded in Madden for a long time. So that's something. Retirement UI, better insight into retirements each season to allow players to react and manage. I'm gonna tell
Well,
you what
here's
they're
why
doing.
the trade logic is interesting. Just real quick, I know for a fact I flipped like third round picks for some great players, and it seemed like
I consider you lucky because I can't get nobody to trade anything on current
so
Maddens.
Madden 20, it seemed like they upped it a little bit, but God, Madden 19 and 18. I remember once I traded a first round pick for Aaron Rodgers, a second round pick for like Odell Beckham. It was something.
I get declines all day long. I never
Madden
got
20, Madden 20 is pretty nice, but they can still do better. And I think another thing is that much like 2K has it and MLB the Show, players need to have more reasons for where they want to go, and teams need to have more reasons, more in-depth reasons for why they will or won't trade a guy or trade for a guy.
yeah.
It can't just be scheme fit, because while scheme fit is nice, it also and then half the time the other thing is it seems like half the time they don't care about scheme fit.
Well, I
So
mean that goes to coaching AI and personnel. That's something they need to
yeah,
work on as well.
yeah.
And they definitely need to work on that because like certain playbooks, you rarely notice if they're actually being executed or implemented. It's just been a mess for a while. Playoff updates, that's another thing. I'm not worried about that. Longest is the traditional playoffs the way it's supposed to be. I'm okay with that. Commissioner tools is a large bucket of items with a lot of opportunities and a lot of work. See these astonishing I'm sorry, see this as something when we continue to work and give you more control of your franchise in years ahead. This is more
Online.
online stuff. I'm not worried about that. You online guys have a blast. Madden NFL 22. This is the stuff that they're going to talk about on this coaching and staff management. We just talked about that. Scouting improvements, which is actually interesting. New scenario engine enhancements. I'm not necessarily worried about that, and I'll explain that in a second. New team chemistry system, well overdue, and commissioner tools improvement. We just talked about that as well. Scenario engine, I don't care about that because I will tell you, I play franchise mode on my other games, the older games that don't even have that. And call me a kid, call me somebody who's 5, 7, 10, 12 years old. But when I play my franchise and I have these fictional players I draft or I get in free agency, in the back of my mind, I'm already setting up a life scenario for them. Like I picked up a punt returner that's have like a 98 speed on my college game. I'm looking at him as one of the best punt returners ever, and I'm doing my best to make him that. I don't need that scenario to do it. I'm already the GM. I'm already the athletic director. I'm the coach of the school or the franchise. I make up my own scenarios. Call me crazy, but that's what I do. I've been doing that ever since I've been playing games since I was young. I'm not going to stop now. Team chemistry, they do a good job with that at NBA 2K. That is much needed in Madden.
I
What do you
think it's
what
I
do you
think
guys
it's
think about that? No,
well,
go ahead, DJ, go ahead.
yeah, I think it's as far as the team chemistry aspect. I'm like NHL is right there,
Another one, yeah, that's
has
another one,
been
right?
there with that team chemistry. I'm like NHL has they still have some ways to improve upon it to like make people really understand how the team chemistry aspect works. But you talk about team chemistry, line chemistry, chemistry with the coaching staff, and coaching and chemistry even in between the coaching staff. So it's just like NHL just took what 1 or 2 years and they accomplished that. So
Right.
My,
yeah, that's
my question
Those, what are
is,
your thoughts about team chemistry?
um, my question is, if they can have a chemistry for the line based on the center, why can't they have that for receiving core or secondary?
yep.
Like, how hard is that to put onto other? And look, I'm not a game developer. I'm just asking questions. Like, what? How hard is that to put on other, you know, other cores of your team, like receiving cores? And I just, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of this stuff that they're saying for Madden 22 sounds nice, but I just have a hard time believing that they couldn't have gotten this stuff in before we started really pressuring them to put it in.
Right.
And now
But you
this isn't even a situation of Madden 21 next gen. This is Madden 22, and then not only that, but it's also, well, we may do this. It's like, come on.
Right.
they could possibly sneak in like, well, we're gonna raise Madden 22 to $70, but down the road.
We'll talk about that. I'm telling you, we're gonna talk about
Well,
commissioner commissioner tools. I don't care about that too much. That's for online people. More content, examples, relocation, branding assets. So they're gonna give us new logos to relocate with, which is pretty interesting. New uniforms, names, logo, relocation options for more variety. I have no problem with that because that does bring depth to the franchise. I have no problem with adding stuff like that. So your involvement as a community, I'm not reading that. You guys can read that part of the community.
I don't give a damn about that. We've
Right.
already involved ourselves as a community by buying or not buying your game. It is your job to put things in that you know exist in the NFL that need to be in a franchise mode. It's that simple. There's no
The only feedback you need if a play's not working right, if there's a bug in the game. But other than that, you don't need us to tell you what needs to be in a football game.
what Scott OG is saying about we talked about the chemistry. Look at what he says. So he says, to answer my question, it depends on the engine and foundation. Then he says system proficiency, we were able to put in mostly all the modes, which
all the modes. It's all the modes. You know what I mean? With that being said, let's see what everybody else said in the chat so far. Go ahead.
Before you go with your first person, one thing I will say that I did not see, and I posted this on Twitter, was I did not see anything pop up about an injury wear and tear system.
Yes.
It's fundamental to any roster management that you may have, because it's not roster management just outside the game, but it's roster management inside the game.
Well, DJ, we're not even talking about a wear and tear system. We're just talking about an injury system in general. Like you have times where the injuries are way too much, or they're just not enough,
or they just don't make sense how they play out. A guy just
that's
right. Exactly.
You're like, what the fuck? How did he hurt his ankle when he landed on his arm? Or shit
like you got to hit stick to the chest, but you got a knee injury.
Right. And they just do the same shit where they keel over on their knees. It's like, come on, bro.
Right. So that's something that really
their nose down when they get hit in the face, and y'all are still doing the same on all fours. Oh my god, he's hurt. I mean, come on, bro. It's like,
and now they just take a knee, so I don't think Trump will be playing this game.
But it's just crazy how the injury system in general, let alone, I mean, wear and tear is like 2 steps ahead of what they have. Chris Thomas said, y'all guys saw the yard gameplay for Madden 21, so what are your thoughts? Next question. Basically, like, we don't, like, the yard is terrible. Like, why would you put that in the game? Don't get me wrong, they should just make that a separate game. You have the license to NFL Blitz. Just go make another NFL Blitz.
Well, wait a minute. But did you see the stream where somebody was able to customize their mouthpiece on the mobile to customize their yard player?
Nah, if it's mobile, I probably wasn't paying attention.
No, but it's for their yard player, so they'll be able to use that. So that kind of gives us a hint.
Shit, though.
No, but that's it. You know how like 2K, you can make your my player. It's like that.
Mobile app.
It looks like it's gonna be that, and then, but I'm gonna look further into it. I just seen pictures, and I was just like, your yard character in the mobile.
Well, that just shows you how much they're invested into it. So that's the issue. You know what I mean?
This is like NFL Street, except with real Madden gameplay. It just looks stupid.
Thank you, OG. The name mix-up is a dad thing. I'm always messing this up as well. I thank you. I'll just leave that there. Daniel Daly saying, so basically don't buy Madden 21. I've seen people already say that they're going to wait for 22 because they're franchise guys and they really want to get the complete experience that EA is trying to put out. So 22 is going to be the game that they're actually going to be doing franchise mode to the fullest. So I've heard a couple people say that they're not going to buy Madden 21. Me personally, you already know how I'm doing it. I'm going to get it on EA Access, $15 like I normally do, and just going to rock out like that. I'm not going to pay $60 for it. Let's see who else. Chris Thomas also said franchise is a stepchild of the family. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, and it has red hair too.
Daniel Daly says, I guess I'll stay on 2K then. Spectacular
not you, the one that's crazy critical of 2K, not you.
Right. Spectacular said it was on Madden '07 and '08 on PC. Are you talking about
Maybe it's talking
practice,
about practice
squad?
mode.
I don't know about practice squads being on Madden '08 PC. I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing them. Um, let's see. They ain't daily talk about the trade logic in 2K. All right, and I'm gonna get into that.
The basketball or
No, he's talking about basketball.
or the illogical one in
No,
2K5.
no, he's talking about basketball.
Okay.
Optimus Group said they releasing the info just proves the point that they give a damn about franchise. That stuff should be in franchise mode from the start. They expect and praise. Exactly. The stuff that we've been asking for years is stuff that we've been playing. We had the stuff in the modes back in the PlayStation 3, well, the mid PS3, and definitely in the PlayStation 2 era. We're not asking for nothing that is new. Like all this stuff that's in this in this little article is pretty much in the older game, like the retirement UI. Damn the user interface of retirement. Did you know in older man? I think this even in Madden on PS3. If you had a player, let's say Tom Brady or Troy Polamalu retired, did you know they can come back out of retirement and play again and or be a coach in that game? It's like they don't even have that. Yeah, they don't even have that in the game no more. It's like you can literally get Tom Brady to come out of retirement after like I think it's like 2 or 3 years after they're like once they retire, they're still on a free agency list for like 2 years in franchise. After the third year, they'll erase them, but you can still pull them back. Or if they feel like they want to do it, you will see at the beginning of next year of your franchise such and such player retired, but now he's the head coach of the team he just left. It's like stuff like that is amazing.
My thing is though, if you go to 2K and let's say you start a franchise in the off season or my league in the off season, like the thing that me and DJ stress as far as the UI is concerned in Madden, and NYK has talked about this too. There's too many fucking menus. Okay, 2K when you go into to start the my league in the off season, they have everything right in front of you on the front page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
First, they have the retirements, right? Everybody that retired, they have retired players, a whole list.
Yeah, it could take you right down the list.
You can click the right stick. You can look at all their career stats, which are accurate, right? Then they have the Basketball Hall of Fame right under that. It all goes in order, and it's all on one page. You don't have to scroll through. Everything that you need to do to complete the offseason is right in front of you. Then you get right to the free agency, which is a great portal. Like Madden just, I don't know what the thing is about menus.
Another thing that did a very good job, another game that did a very good job with menus was NCAA 14. They did phenomenal with their menus throughout the franchise mode. They did a very good job. And it's like, why you can't just at least try to mimic what these guys have done? If you're in-house.
Hiding shit. Like, don't stop hiding stuff within the menus where we gotta click R1 and then we gotta go into this menu. Then it's hidden up there. It's like It's like if I want to go see the league standings, it should be like 2K. I just flip one page and boom, the league standings are sitting right there. Not go in a search for it and you got to dig into something that says league management and then go under there. It's like it's stupid. It's just a waste of menus. They don't have that much depth in that fucking mode to have that many menus. Maybe they make it seem like they do, and that's why they put the menus, but they don't have enough depth to have all them fucking menus in there. They ain't really much to do.
Not at all. Nope.
Right, exactly. It's like it's stuff that just should need to be, it should be there, and it doesn't make any sense that when you had the interfaces of other games, their own games, like we can talk about NHL, we can talk about FIFA, we could talk about NBA Live. Their user interface is bare bones. I mean, because the game was bare bones, but still, the information you wanted was there. You know what I mean?
I like the setup that they had too, showing your starting five standing there pretty much in real time, right? That was
I agree.
But it was bare bones, but even their shit wasn't really hidden in menus.
Y'all keep talking. I'll be right back. Hold on.
But yeah, man, that menus thing is a big thing for people who might not play franchise and want to try franchise, and then they go in and a lot of the stuff that they're looking for is hidden. I mean, that's just it's a turnoff. You should have a lot of that stuff accessible right there. Like I said, you should have your schedule. That should be the first thing on the menu when you pop up, just like 2K. They have the calendar. You should
Like,
have. Oh, good.
yeah, I'm about to say, because along with that schedule, it's like you also have that ticker that lets you know what's going on around the league, what's going on with the college players that you're going to be drafting later on, any random stuff. Like, they've got, to me, 2K has gotten to the point where they have like random Twitter messages or whatever that kind of like pop up randomly
Yeah.
in the middle of news stories, and the fact that I know in a way Madden tries to involve like outside users into the game, but it's just nice to see, in 2K, Brian Mazik is in there talking about your team or somebody else's team and other like known people that you and I have interacted with that are in the game that are in those little feeds, whether it be like a news feed, social feed, transactions and stuff like that. So
And I'll tell you another nice thing that they could add. And I remember it used to be on
I
the
just
uh,
found the point.
it used to be on the EA games on Xbox 360 when they had the ESPN license. They would have the real time news pop up.
mhm.
They'd have the audio. They'd tell you the real life scores and things like that.
Right.
If there was a way that they could have some canned lines read by the commentators to announce scores or things like that just while you're scrolling through the menus, that would be dope. You can have the option of, having the music playing or just listening to what's happening in your league. That adds
Mhm.
immersion. And if you want to have those crazy ass menus there because you just want them, then that will help people not have to search through. But like I said, the first page should be your team schedule. Then, if you scroll over, it should show your top players, your roster right there. If you want to go in the roster and see more detail, fine, but it should at least show a list of your top players. Then it should be the
All
standings.
right.
All this stuff should be there where you don't have to go in, league leaders. All that stuff should be front pages of menus, not hidden inside of more folders of the menus. It's like
Mhm.
you shouldn't
All right.
have to dig for that shit.
All right. I'm
Right.
back. I'm back. I had to find my son's cup. He needed his cup so he can go lay down. My bad. Um,
Mhm.
but no, y'all on point because like when you are f- trying to take control of a franchise, you want to get all the information. All that stuff needs to be right there, and
Right.
it needs to be accessible. You would want to know, like, say, if you're playing against, San Diego next week, find out what kind of stats they have per game. You don't have to.
Yep.
You didn't have to dig all of that because
You
you would
could.
know, like, if they're leading in passing or their running back is really good, you would know based on their stats. Not, you should
Yeah,
find it.
because if you look on 2K's calendar, your next opponent, you just right click on them and or R3 click on them, whatever right click you use, you'll have all that information. There's franchise status, their player starting lineups. If you want to view their bench, you view their coaching staff, and you can view their status as far as like current season. So it's
Right.
just
And think about 2K from the perspective of when you're picking a team to play my league with. They tell you about the prestige. They tell you about what position they're in, whether it's rebuilding or what. They tell
hmm
you their top player on the team, their top two or three players. They tell you their financial situation, right? That's the type of shit you should want to know. Like in 2K, they have the number of championships like up in the corner or whatever that your team has won and things like that, just to remind you what franchise you're using. You would think that something like the NFL would definitely, have that. I mean, you want to feel like if you're using the Packers, that you're playing with a prestigious organization, even to the point where, if your team is playing badly, there should be a reporter in the city in the Twitter feed that is saying y'all aren't living up to, the prestige of the Packers and things like that. There should be,
hmm
it's just it doesn't feel like a living, breathing world the way 2K feels like a living, breathing world when you're playing.
Right.
It feels like things are ever evolving. Madden, it just feels like you play the game and the next week you go to next week and that's it. And
That's it.
hmm
That's exactly what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like, and it's a shame that it has to be that way. But put them in a game says if it was a priority, they'd do it. Yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, let's be honest. EA has tried their best to push monetization to the forefront. And this is where you see that the stuff that makes money is the stuff that gets the attention. Franchise don't make money for them, so therefore it takes people putting up a hashtag for it to happen. So it's the type of stuff that you want to really um get out there so they can actually get it done. But other than that, if we don't get it out there, we'd have probably still been in the same in the
Hmm.
same thing.
They were like, yeah, they didn't get mad. Okay, we can go another year.
Mhm.
Right.
And that's exactly what it would have been like.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm not putting much faith in 21. But 22 is going to really be the game, and I hate to say that because now we're dealing with another situation this generation. We got to worry about, I guess, what a 2-year plan when it comes to that now.
You know
You
what?
know,
I'm not at the point of moving the goalpost
yeah,
to
I was like, we
like
shouldn't have to.
we shouldn't have to. Speaking just for myself, I'm at the point where it's just like, look, you already got caught, and I've said this repeatedly. You already got caught lying, and now you're doing stuff you should have done. You should have did when you made that statement last year, and then you're not even really committal to all that stuff that was on there. So you have that list, like they have it listed, but it's just like, it could change. Really? Okay.
Right.
Ah, boy. But
It-
yeah.
it's crazy at the end of the day. I don't know. Let's see if anybody else got anything to say. XFL. Yeah, the XFL is possibly coming back. He bought it, but there's, only thing we know that he bought it. We haven't heard anything yet.
Well, we
But
know that if it does come back, Washington can whoop St. Louis ass again.
He's definitely bringing it back. He said
Oh
he was
yeah, him
definitely.
and his ex-wife are pretty much
Yeah.
Okay,
running
so
that. So
that sounds good. So when more information comes up with that, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about NBA 21, NBA 2K21, next gen approach. I've heard, and OG, you don't have to say yay
yeah,
or
don't chime in.
I've
Don't.
heard, I've heard, and this is a good thing. I heard that there are two development teams working on the next gen and the current gen. If that's true, that is actually pretty good news. If that's the case, I think that with that being said, we'll have a fleshed out game compared to 2K14, which was semi fleshed out. It wasn't bare bones by any means, but it wasn't as it wasn't fully featured as the PS3 version was. But with that being the same, with both of them have two different um, teams on two separate games, I think there's hope that we're going to continue to get some really good stuff. Um, what's your Bills? I want you to go first. What are your thoughts about that?
Um, Look, I have faith that 2K is going to be a completely different game. I've already heard that the player movement systems are completely different for next gen versus current gen. That was enough to tell me not to buy NBA 2K21 current gen. Um, I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be interesting because I've been hearing about this new way of mocapping movement and capturing movement for next gen games. That sounds really interesting and it sounds realistic. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a positive, and we just gotta wait and see what the gameplay looks like and go from there. But I still am interested to see what could they possibly have done to the current gen version this year, because I just off the top of my head once again can't think of anything that they really could have done other than shore up some bugs and things of that nature. But obviously they're not recreating the wheel in the last year of this generation. So
Right. I think the last generation of a game with 2K is usually pretty good as far as what they put in the game as far as the fluidity. Like 2K14 on the PS3 was actually a really good. It's a pretty good basketball game even to this day. The game is still being modded on PC and it does very well as far as gameplay. So I think that 2K2021, I think that's going to be fine. But with them having two separate teams, I think that's going to be really interesting. DJ, what are your thoughts?
Just before DJ goes, kind of interesting because remember 2K13 was a bit of a letdown, right? And
Hmm.
then 2K14 came out and it was really good. But now in this situation, you have 2K20, which is a masterpiece. It's like shit. It's almost like how do you follow up 2K20 for the final game of the generation? Um,
I
it's,
don't think they have to do. Like I said, I don't think they have to do much, but just keep it. Keep the stability there.
that's why I'm interested
You
to
know,
see what they're pushing.
yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. But like I said, as long as it stays stable, I mean, it's kind of like with 13. 13 just had some issues with like tangibility. You know what I mean? I mean, that was like really one of the biggest problems with 2K13. You couldn't block dunks. When you steal the ball, the ball goes through the hand. Those type of things was the big issue. 2K14 fixed that big time. It's like the ball was hellified tangible on the PS3 version. So I figured that I don't think it's going to be anything like spectacular because they've done a good job with the game. I just think it's going to be more of a stable game, and I think we'll be okay with what we have. DJ, what are your thoughts?
It actually leads me to wonder how big is this team in actuality that they're possibly able to split the team for one half or one or a separate team to work on the next gen version while the other works on the current gen version. So I wonder if these are new folks or just the current team to split in half because if only half the team is able to work on the next gen version, and if the next gen version turns out good, then I can only imagine with the next gen version after 21, 2K22, when they fully commit to next gen. I'm like, in a way, if they made a separate team to focus on next gen, that's already them focusing on next gen. I'm like, that's the way it should be. I'm like, it shouldn't be a thing where like at the last minute, oh yeah, we're gonna port the current gen on and forward compatible it to well, I'm saying this NHL is doing this, but that shouldn't be the case either. And move it to next gen just with updated visuals.
This is a crazy idea. What if they what if they already absorbed the NBA Live team and we had no idea, and they just absorbed the NBA Live team?
That wouldn't be far fetched at this point, honestly, because you heard absolutely nothing from NBA Live outside of their mobile game in the past almost 13, 12 months.
Mm.
So I wouldn't be surprised. It'd
Not
be
even
funny, but I wouldn't be surprised.
not even updates for their last game.
Yeah,
None.
their entire Twitter has just been silent. The last update they had was like,
the last thing they did
uh,
updates for the trades this year.
yeah, I think that's like the last thing they did because like I just recently purchased the game, and I repurchased it because I had it on Xbox, so I repurchased it on PS4, and yeah, they got the updated rosters for now,
Except for the
but
rookies.
I think they stealthily did that because they didn't even announce that.
Yeah, they don't have the rookies or anything. So yeah,
Mm.
Right.
that would be funny, bro.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you got to think about it. I think EA, at the end of the day, I think you almost can say that they kind of low key giving up on the basketball franchise. It just seems that way at this point because you don't hear nothing from them. They could have said, "Hey, we got something for you for 22. Stay tuned." I mean, they could have just said, "Stay tuned." That alone
or
would
at
have been
least
like, okay.
or at least have something that keeps Prime busy
Well,
and
Prime
keep
is
him
busy. But
and keep him from making dumbass statements.
Yeah, Prime's on 2K now. Prime don't worry
No,
about.
nah, the moment Live comes back, he was like, going right back.
Well, that's the thing. They gotta come back. But no, it's like I said, it's like, with that being said, it's like I think EA is in a tizzy right now to say, like, look, authentic or replication or simulation basketball isn't our thing. They might well just go ahead and just give us NBA Jam. And I mean, I talked about this on my personal stream last Sunday. It's like, look, arcade games aren't like a death nail. They're actually fun in those games. A lot of fun in them, and they just need to capitalize on it. I don't see why they just like, hey, look, we already got NBA Jam. We'll just update it with updated rosters, and and just have at it. I don't see a problem with that, but it seems like it's taboo for some reason. I don't know.
Okay,
You about to present those?
Pooh's asked a question.
What
Oh,
did
he
you
did. Let's see.
Is that how long did you guys go without playing a sports game? Now,
Hmm.
is that question geared towards like
Like
ever?
in general,
I almost choked on a piece of cookie.
I mean, in general, I could say, oh goodness, probably maybe a month.
I would
I'm
say it was
guessing.
about. I would say it was about 2 months for me.
the
Yeah, I'll say
longest,
about a month.
I'm
longest
like,
time I went without playing sports games was when I didn't have my consoles, which was 4 or 5 months. So
Yeah, I think it was one time when I like binged on. I think is when I was playing Uncharted for the PS3,
mhm.
and all I want to do is play that game, and I end up platinum in Uncharted 2 for the PS3, and that's all I did for like a whole month. So I did not touch not one. No, I did not touch not one sports game. I think that was probably the time that I did not play a sport. I wanted to platinum Uncharted 2 on the PS3.
Okay, he says towards you with every sports release that has happened. I know I went without WWE 2K20 until what, last month?
oh, you actually got it?
Yeah.
You picked the wrong time
No,
because that game
it's
was
just like
I'm
last.
like, I got it for dirt cheap.
Nah,
So
like the game was better before that last patch. They actually kind of hit in the stride a little bit, and then they like handcuffed the AI again.
well, like I said, like as far as not playing the game, I can honestly say that was probably the time. Like
mm,
Uncharted 2 was my life at one point, and I fell in love with that game, and it got to the point where it's like, oh, I got to do this, and this to platinum it. I mean, it was so bad. I was actually playing that game online with people, trying to get trophies that had nothing to do with the platinum.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was in love with Uncharted 2. I think I got up to like level like 75 online with Uncharted 2. It's like I was in love with that game. Matter of fact, let me look up my trophy
4 years
statistic
without
on that.
playing a sports game.
Let me see PSN profiles.
Who say you went 3 to 4 years without playing a sports game? That's pretty insane.
I
I
can
can
see,
believe.
knowing the way that he plays games, I can believe that.
Yeah,
It's
got
not a
very
knock
amount
on
of
him.
games. Yeah.
It's not a knock on him. I can believe that. Just the way that he plays certain games, I can see that.
Hmm.
Let me look. From the first time I got a trophy in Uncharted 2 to the final one, I want to see. Trophies. Oh, here we go. My profile.
Skip the Madden from 11 to 15. Same for 2K.
Hold up.
So
Let's
you
see. Put him in the game. Said, hold up. When Madden 96 dropped, didn't the OG PS1 went for a minute until NBA Live dropped? Madden 96 came out. I don't even think Madden 96 got a release on the PS1. I could be wrong. I think you're right.
Yeah, I know one of those Maddens didn't get released.
I think it jumped straight to 97. I
And you
could be
know,
wrong.
which company was responsible for that? Visual Concepts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I don't it could be right. Because live NBA Live was another one. I think 96 came out for the PS1. I'm not sure about Madden 96. I could be wrong. Pooh said he completely skipped Madden 11 to 15 for the same for 2K. Wow, so you missed Madden 12 and Madden 25? Wow,
and
that's
NBA
crazy.
2K11.
Yeah, and 2K11. Dang, how you miss 2K11? L. You get L for that.
Don't say L.
You get a complete L for that. That's terrible. I don't know. What else? Y'all got anything else for this? I think it's a good idea. I think that game is gonna be. It's gonna do big things. Personally, I think 2K21 is gonna be a phenomenal game, especially on the next generation. Us PC guys gotta wait because they're not putting it out on there yet.
It's still going to control pretty nice since it is on PC. So,
Yeah.
but we'll actually see what the performance frames per second wise will be on the next gen, because that will be the question as far as NBA 2K21 is concerned. Because if it gives a constant 60 frames per second or maybe a little higher, then we talking.
I think I think I think I
They
think
have some competition here.
I think 60 is going to be without a doubt. That it's going to be 60. I mean, it's 60 now on the last generation games of 60. So,
Technically, it isn't.
huh?
It's not constant 60
On what?
on consoles.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I'm about to say. I was talking about PC. I thought
It's on the Xbox.
Yeah.
X. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Well, we already know Xbox One X more powerful than PS4
Yeah,
Pro, but at the same time, PC is constant
haven't played it.
60 or more.
I haven't played it on Xbox One X. I couldn't tell you, but I
Right.
know on PS4 Pro it dips at times, and you already know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think 60 is a given. Now, I think 60 is a given on a PS5. I think you're going to get 60. I don't see why not.
Let's talk about this $70 shit, bro. Because
all right, you can go ahead and lead off with it.
Okay, so there are some people still sour because 2K is selling their game for $70 next gen as opposed to 60 current gen. And to be completely honest, I don't understand it. Like I for the life of me can't understand what all the hoopla is about. I mean, like I said, the games could have been $70 last console generation. And more importantly, when you're selling a product, you have the right to sell your product at whatever price you want to, and it's up to the consumers. That's what consumerism is. Are you going to buy it or not? That's the root of consumerism. So a lot of people are complaining they're going to end up buying it in the end, and then you got the people who make the excuse, oh, this is the only basketball game out there. Yeah, we've heard that excuse with Madden for years, but you said Madden sucked and bought it. So I just, I got into it with Obi-Wan's friend, and he was saying some stupid shit, and he starts complaining about ads being in the game, which has nothing to do with anything related to the price of the game. He's complaining about gameplay mechanics regressing, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. If anything, they've gotten better and more responsive. He's talking about just a lot of bullshit. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, man, buy it or don't buy it. It's that simple. I'm not going to be charging the same thing in 5 years for a wedding that I am now. So, I mean, I don't see why any company has to be cookie cutter and sell their game at a certain price when they feel like their game is a bit more valuable than, the other games out there.
I'm gonna tell you why 2K did this, and I could be wrong, but this is my gut feeling. I got a feeling that a lot, and I'm gonna say probably between 30 to 45%. 30 to 45% of people who buy 2K bought the extra editions that cost $70, $80, $90, $100.
God damn it, VF. I was going to say something on that.
I'm almost certain that's the case, and I think that's the reason why they raised the price. It's not because of people not spending the money. It's because people have spent that money. I paid $100 for 2K19. I have no regrets of doing it, but I did. But you got to mind you, that's my first time and my only time ever paying that much money for a premium edition. Now, you got to think about all the other people that have done that on a yearly basis. You got people here are buying, and we're not even talking about paying for the game. There's probably people, they probably have data out there for people who are buying these My Team packs.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on the packs alone. So what is it to them to spend another $10 for the game?
Grown-ass men who had the choice to do it or not do it, and they did it.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, y'all saw when we did the Madden review. Y'all see how much I paid for Musha on Sega Genesis. I paid a lot of money for and I've paid a lot of money for a lot of these games up here because I mean, obviously they're retro. I'm paying for rarity. I'm paying for games that are like not in circulation. I get it, but a lot of people pay this type of money for these games. Like, for instance, OG said it right here, and I put it out on Twitter earlier. N64 games were $70,
and not all of them.
Super Nintendo. Yeah, a
Yeah,
good
but
bit of
not.
them was.
But majority were way less than that.
Yeah, but this is only one. This is
Yeah, that too.
It's the first of possibly many.
okay.
In which right now, even according to the Take Two CEO, he even sat there and said not everyone's in alignment as far as his price, and even within the company, it said that okay, well, NBA 2K21 is going to be the only game going at 70 right now. We're going to go at title by title basis.
Yeah, but what
So
is?
he's not
But
even sure if he's going to hold to that.
Let me
But that
ask.
goes back. But that goes back to what I was saying. It's like
Mhm.
it just goes back to what I'm saying. Like that is the first game that they probably noticed that people are spending abundant amount of money on, let alone just the title itself. They're paying for other things, mud cards, the special editions, get the Kobe jersey on the side,
It
you know,
seems.
But
18
DJ,
get
what is
Shaq and
the root
stuff.
of your issue with this in the first place?
My issue was the fact that, well, my issue is like kind of dual folded. It's not really just with the company. It's actually with both sides in this issue. I'm like, you have the company that, okay, let's look at Take Two, for example, their CEO making his statement. We haven't even seen anything of NBA 2K21 to justify that $70 is worth
We
buying
don't.
that game right now.
Hold on. Say that, say
We
that,
don't,
say that again.
right now, we haven't seen any coverage to justify paying $70 for that game. We
Yeah,
haven't seen anything.
but here's my
I mean,
thing.
yeah, no disrespect to 2K. We haven't seen anything for it to justify a $60 purchase. We never seen anything for 2K.
So,
But my
so
thing is, why did they? Why does a company who's selling something never have to justify their price? Either you buy it or not. That's literally what consumerism is.
whoa, you would think it's based on the quality of the game.
It's based on what they want to charge for it. You could go and buy a
But
sequel
the thing is, if
$50. It could be better
okay,
than one for $30.
but then their justification for paying is like, okay, they want to charge $70 for NBA 2K21 on next gen. They're basing it on what they think is going to be more quality.
Exactly.
But the thing is, we don't know that right now.
Disagree with that.
So,
I kind of disagree. I think they did that because a lot of people they look at the analytics and a lot of people are
no,
paying.
no. We're just
What
talking.
they said.
Yeah, we're talking about what they said. They literally did say it's
Oh yeah,
based.
that's true. You're right.
Yeah.
So,
So,
my thing is,
Mhm.
we always say this on this podcast, DJ.
Right.
It's up to the consumer to decide whether it's worth it or not. So my thing is, if you're a person who doesn't know whether it's going to be worth $70, don't buy it day one.
And see, and that at the end, that's the decision I'm making, because at the end of the day, these prices will drop. There will be a discount down the
I
road.
mean,
I don't have to buy it at launch.
if you got it on, if you get it on PC, there's a chance that you can get these.
Well, the PC version is current gen, so that's.
I'm just talking about going down the road. I mean, I'm talking about down the road, like 2K22. There's a chance that you can get this game for probably like $40 before it's released. Depend on where you're going to look for.
Or you can find like a mom and pop store; they'll probably sell it to you on the low.
Yeah, that too. So it's like, you know.
But here's a statement to back up what you were saying, VF, earlier, because I know I had started out going at the company, because I originally stated on Twitter, I will read it so everyone will get a feel for what me and Bills were kind of going back and forth about. And, we've already settled it, because we understand that at the end of the day, it is the consumer's choice to pay that price or not. I just vehement on what I would do. But I started off saying that, okay, well, the first thing I said, this is what kind of started the whole thing, because IGN put out a report. I responded to that retweet. It was like, CEO Take-Two Interactive says next gen price increase for NBA 2K21 is justified as it reflects the quality of the experience. So I retweeted that article and was like, always be prepared to walk away from a good thing when it starts to act out of pocket. That's according to whatever person's view. It's not just my own, it could be your own. People are different. And then I back that up with, I'm a consumer. A price increase on anything is never justified, no matter how good you, and I put in parentheses, the company, think it is. But then I turned my eye towards the consumers and was like, but y'all, the consumers, keep buying the special edition of these games for whatever reason it may be, paying $70, $80, and even up to $120 per game. That undermines any argument, including my own, that would oppose any CEO making a claim like Take-Two CEO has made. So it's like I have a side eye for everyone at this point.
But my thing is based on like just being a consumer in general, when you're looking for a product, and this is in any walk of life,
Hmm.
it's always about the value, and it's always about the risk of not knowing what the true value is versus what they're making you pay for. So
Mhm.
my thing is, people know what they're getting when they pay that $100. They want the game 3 days early. If I buy the game and I buy the edition that's second up from the standard and I want it 3 days early, I do it because I say, look, I'm getting it 3 days early. I know it's going to be a quality game. So I do it. But as far as the $70 thing, I've been prepared to pay $70 for games. I mean, for a while now. It's no different than me being prepared to pay $800 for a good keyboard. I'm not going to get a good keyboard for anything less than that. And I know that. So going into it, I'm already prepared for that. So when I look at games being $70 as opposed to 60 now, I'm thinking next gen consoles. Now, if they raise their price to $70 for the current gen game, you have my full agreement that it would be bullshit. But
To
because
me, to
it's
me, to me, I find it no different from the PlayStation 3 controller was $49, and then the PS4 controller is $59. I don't. To me, it's almost the same thing.
and people have no issue paying more for a next gen console, so I don't know why they have an issue paying more for games.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like to me when you look at it from that perspective, the parallel almost is right on point. It's like the Dual Shock or the Dual Sense 5 controller. I'm almost certain that controller is gonna probably be an $80 controller. I mean, do y'all disagree? I mean, I think you can get a PS4 controller now. I think they're like $59 or $69, but I think the PS5 controller, if you want an extra one, I think you're gonna be end up paying $80. It
But
just
it's,
But
looks like an $80
it's
controller.
almost like it's almost like buying it's almost like buying a Blu-ray player, and you have no issue with paying more for the Blu-ray player, but once you have to buy Blu-ray DVDs, it's an issue. It's like
Right, or in other words, if you bought Nightmare on Elm Street for DVD and it's 17.99, but you want Nightmare on Elm Street for on Blu-ray
yeah,
and that's 39.99. I
all of a sudden
mean,
you're like,
you
yo, this
kind
is
of
bullshit. It's like, well, how? I mean, this is
yeah, it's all.
paid
I
the
mean,
version.
like I said, the parallel is almost the same. I mean, I get what DJ's saying because DJ's looking at it on the side of them saying about the quality of the game, and I get it because if you feel like you're getting the same type of quality from the last generation, it may not be worth that $10 increase. But that's almost like based on the user. Everybody's
That's
level
what
of
I'm saying.
quality could be different. Outside
right.
like this franchise mode thing, we're not even talking about quality. You're basically taking stuff away from us and never giving it back. But
And
I
see, and I put that out there. I was just like, I wonder if this was EA CEO that made that statement and was like, okay, well, next gen we're gonna charge people $70 for Madden, and especially with what we already know right now, would we have this? I'm like, eh, would we have this same energy? Would we have this same
Who would have the same?
Bill,
discussion?
I want to ask you a question
Mhm,
by answering DJ.
mhm,
Based on NBA 2K20,
mhm.
do you think if that game came out as a $70 game, would you be upset? Based on what you know now about 2K20.
2K20 current gen, obviously.
Yeah, right. The game right now.
If the game came out at $70, I probably would have waited a bit because I would say this is a bit different than the norm, which is $60. So I want to wonder why they were charging retail price of $70. I probably wouldn't have got it day one because
Okay.
because I'd wonder why are you all of a sudden charging $10 more and this is current gen. Because that's
Now,
when
now,
you start moving away from the norm. That's when people start to notice and they say, "Well, wait a minute. This is a current gen game. This is the next iteration of your game, but you're charging 70. Everybody else charges 60. Why are you charging 70 for this particular game?" I would want to know why.
now,
A lot of people
but
would just say,
when you look at the quality of NBA 2K20, what are your thoughts about it then?
I still
Compared to the quality compared to $70. Because I asked that because if Madden with the quality of Madden 20 being $70, there would have been a real serious problem with that.
So here's what I'll say about that. As far as the quality, I'd say Madden 20 is about a $30 game, and I'd say NBA 2K20 is about a $60 game. I still wouldn't say $70, but the thing about that, unfortunately, is a lot of those things when you buy the game, you have to look back in hindsight, right? Because you know, every time we buy a game, we're taking a chance on whether we're gonna like it or not. Unfortunately,
That is true.
we can't say for sure, right? Even if you play a demo, you can play
Mm-hmm.
10 hours of EA access. You don't know because there are a lot of things that can happen during that life, such as patches and all sorts of things. So, with all that being said, I still wouldn't feel comfortable paying $70 for normal price on NBA 2K20 because I just feel like I'm not getting anything overly different than what I got in 2K19, just a more polished version. 2K20 is a great game. It's better than 2K19, but it's not next gen. And if you're not getting that much of a different experience, I can't validate the extra $10. Um, Now with next gen is completely different. They're building from the ground up and all these different things. And obviously, I'll do my due diligence and I'll research it and I'll see plenty of gameplay and I'll try to find any information I can prior to buying it. But also because I know I'm a basketball head and I know that 2K puts out quality games in that particular situation, I kind of go past precedent because 2K has more of a leash than an EA in this example. You're not going to take a leap of faith with EA, right? Unless you're just a Madden head, you're not going to take a leap of faith with EA and say, "Oh yeah, of course their game's worth $70." No, I mean, it hasn't been worth $70 since the PS2 days.
Right.
So, and that's if you're talking about $70 as far as what the game actually is worth, as far as what's in it. But it's very subjective. Some people will look at 2K and they'll say that it's worth $70 just because they can put their favorite T-shirt on their guy in park, and
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But I do agree that, and this is in all walks of life as far as consumerism and supply versus demand and things like that. The consumers, in a way, do dictate that based on what they fall for, and I think the people who create the product and sell the product dictate that based on what they are putting out for the people to fall for. And this goes back to what I say about the creators of the product always control the narrative, and this is just another example of that.
Mm.
They
Yeah, okay.
condition people to feel like $70 is fine because they've put out a really good product, and also next gen people expect to kind of pay more. We still don't know what the consoles are going to be. That might be another thing that may change people's perception about the game being $70.
Mm-hmm.
um, Me personally, just on another note, I won't say I'm worried, but I'm really interested at this point to see why neither company has said what the price is, and we're getting into.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
can tell you.
interesting too.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why. Honestly, my personal opinion, I think because of a lot of people that are not working right now, and a lot of people that's going through this pandemic, the last thing they need to hear is about an expensive ass piece of equipment that they need to buy. I think if it's too expensive, it'll be an automatic turn off.
So you think it's going to be a big? You think it's going to be more expensive?
I think if it's anything more than $500, people are gonna be like, "Fuck this." That I
Well,
personally
it is, though.
with I mean, with everybody going through what they're going through right now with this pandemic, I think they do not want to push that on anybody. That's my personal
And
opinion.
then definitely now nobody has that extra 600.
Right, exactly. I think they're very cautious about that because of that. They don't want to push a price out there because you're probably talking about a situation where people would just get turned off and not even buy it just because.
I
Like you
think-
trying to make us, Oh, go ahead.
I think regardless of the pandemic, I think they're playing chicken at this point.
I think they are too.
Well, I think that's a part of it
because
too.
to
I
tell
can
you-
agree with that. I can agree with
to
that.
tell you the truth, I feel like the sooner you tell your consumers what the price is, even in a pandemic, they'll find a way to
Absolutely.
scrap up some change. There's plenty of things to get
I'll
people.
say,
There are people saving right now
I will say this.
regardless of their financial situation.
Right.
I will say at least 60 to 70% of people think like you think. I think it'll be the majority, but I don't think like say 100 people said they're going to buy it, but I think the people who actually go out their way to get it during these times, probably about
Mhm.
70%. I'll say 7 out of 10 people will do that. I think the other 30% will be like, yeah, I'm gonna wait.
Well, because
And
here's the thing. Oh, good.
yeah, because the thing about it, and this backs up what Bill says about about consumers, and I turn aside at consumers is that a lot of times they can't control like we. So I'm gonna say we, but
Mhm.
sometimes we can't control our impulses
I think
to
that's all
spend
consumers.
money.
That's all consumers. I agree.
Yeah. So okay, go ahead.
I was
Man,
gonna say,
I had to tone that down, man, because I got a woman in the other room that'll slap me the hell up. So my impulses went away quick.
I would say, I would say the breakdown of people buying these new consoles is this. I think about 50% of the people right now are convinced that there is no way they are not going to get this day one. They've already decided, regardless of how much it costs, they're going to get it. Right.
Right.
Then you have another 20% that are saying, okay, fuck, like, I really want it, but I don't know how much it costs. And I just got this PS4 Pro / Xbox One X, so we'll see. I'm gonna get it, but probably closer to the holiday season. That's another 20%. Then
Okay.
you got, I would say, you probably have another 20% that are saying, I'm not getting this console on release day, regardless. Like I'm just not getting it. I have no interest. I'm gonna wait and see what happens with it. I'm in the minority as far as waiting to see how things are, right? And then that last, I guess, what would it be? That last 10% are the people who are basically saying what we're saying, which is that end of the day, as much as they want the console, they've kind of pushed it out of their mind that they're going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, they'll get it. They'll get it once that tax money come.
That's what I'm saying. So there's always, I
But
think
you
that there's,
you also got to think
That's
like,
if it comes, because you know what they say. Yeah, you guys benefited from being out of work, and all of a sudden that tax bill come.
yeah. But I think basically 50% of the people know for a fact they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. Like
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
regardless,
I can agree with
even
that.
in a pandemic,
Now,
they're saying I will scrape together some money to get one of these consoles because this is what I plan to get. And if this may sound, a lot of people may look at this as salvaging their year because they really don't like how 2020 is going. That's another thing. So, like DJ said, I think it would have been a positive for them to just go ahead and say what the price is, and people come to grips with it. People are gonna buy it regardless. They're hardcore
I
gamers.
can agree with that, and I think they should have done that. They should have done that outright when they showed what the consoles look like.
Yes. Period.
I can agree with that because that would have. Because see, if you would have done that back then, let's say this was like 2-3 months ago when they showed what the consoles look like.
mhm.
If they would have done it then, by now people would have probably embraced it, come to the realization of what it is, and they would have started making changes or whatever they have to do to get the console. Like
Right.
under the way things are now, that's why I say, like, look, some people are just gonna be like, I'm not messing with it because it's gonna be like what it is, August now. You're probably going to hear it by the end of the month. Now you're getting into holiday season, and people holiday season is probably already kind of jacked up already. They hear another $500 already. They're gonna be like, okay, this is a bad time to put that out. Like the other consoles, it was like E3 was the time when you heard the pricing of some of these consoles, and E3 was like in June, July.
And for some
So
reason, I still feel like they're gonna be $599.
yeah, I got a feeling that you're looking at between $549 and $599.
Because what's the
In my
danger
opinion.
of saying what it's going to be if it's the same price as last year? Everybody keeps saying, well, they leaked it and said it was 500. Okay, but if it was 500, they would have said that.
Mm.
There'd be no danger in saying it's the same thing as last time. There'd be no danger in that. But they're not saying that, which means that there's clearly something that they have to hide. And I think it's a higher price point. And God, I mean, what the hell is it going to be? I mean, I shudder to even think what that
I
price.
mean, my thing is like when they came out with this whole with the new consoles or whatever, I almost knew that it was gonna be higher than the 399 that it is with the PS 4 Pro and the Xbox One X. I mean, you got to remember the Xbox One at one point was $500. So it's like, yeah, I don't see it being anywhere near that price point. I think it's gonna be more.
Detroit,
So
Detroit,
Shoot.
Detroit said, when was the last time you guys were at a Gucci store? Young people spending mad bread. Yeah, but that bread is drying up. They ain't good. They're not gonna get that money. That is dried up, bro. That shit ended the end of July. That money is
Pretty
gonna.
much.
They're not spending money anymore, bro. Where's the money coming from?
yeah,
That
they're not getting that. Yeah, they're not getting that unemployment like that no more. You know what I mean? So
until they sign that new bill, they are not getting that money from anywhere. So there's no money to spend. And if they were spending it, that means they weren't saving it. So that means there was even less money to spend. So I mean, we don't have to go to a Gucci store to see that people's money is drying up. We can just look on TV.
Hmm.
We can look on our Facebook page. We can look on Twitter. That's easy to see.
yeah,
Now,
pretty much.
Now, just one last thing about this $70. This is one thing that we haven't even touched. The fact that because I know we brought up past games that were in the '70s, that were in the '60s, and stuff like that. But you also got to look at the fact that back then, that's all the company was getting 60, 70. They weren't getting anything after that. Like your gateway entry to the game on current gen is $60, but we touched on the spending habits of people after they buy the game. They buy the VC, they buy the MUT coins, they buy the LUT coins, or whatever they call them in the other Ultimate Teams, all your favorite games. And it's like that's kind of like another reason why some people feel like the raising of a price to 70 is unjustified, because it's like now you're raising the entry point to be exposed to these microtransactions, these loot boxes. And I think that's what one person, when I know Bill, you brought up the one person,
Yeah,
and I could see one of his points with the gameplay mechanics, because if you're playing like my career and you're starting out, you're like Joe Blow, but you don't have the time to practice with your player, or the mechanics may be a little too complicated, and again you don't have time, you'll start spending money, because the to do it without money, it takes you a long time
Yeah,
to
it
boost
does.
your player.
let me get into this dude's list that he came up with. I'm just gonna
Gotcha.
pick this shit apart real quick. All right. So originally I was having this conversation with Obi-Wan, and I asked him, I didn't even ask him before the list. I just said, what are these business practices that you're talking about? So then this dude comes with his old Ollie Woodson looking ass. He comes and gives a list. He says the first one he said was systematic game designs to force VC purchases. Now, first off, nobody's forcing you to buy VC. I understand what you're saying, DJ, but if you're somebody like me and VF, and hell, even you're gonna say, look, bro, you gotta grind to get better. If you're not playing online, then you're fine with that, right?
But here's another thing. If you just play the game on franchise mode or whatever, you earn VC every single game, and if you win, actually get more VC.
If you play now, you get VC.
That's what I'm saying. It
So
is funny.
that's bullshit. Then he said ads for outside content, i.e. commercial in a free to play game. First off, it's not free to play. You paid $60 to get us out, stupid. Secondly, as for outside content, bro, you gotta understand. It's 2K. I mean, 2K is like a huge conglomerate now, bro. They have so many outside sources of income. Those ads are easy to ignore if you're not a person who impulse buys all the time. If you are, then shame on you.
But wait a minute, I will have to question. Remember, they had that unskippable ad where it was like an M-rated show that they were featuring.
Yeah, that
So
was
Yeah,
you
that's funny.
have stuff.
That's pretty
It's kind
funny.
of
They did.
predatory.
That's funny. They did that when it was a E for everyone game.
Right, and then on top of that, you got like slot machines and stuff.
but the mature one was more of a I don't know if that was a business practice, and much of it just was like in bad
It
taste.
was unskippable.
Well, it was unskippable and it was in bad taste. So I will say that.
Even if it wasn't good taste, it was unskippable.
Uh, I hear you on that one. You made a better point than he did because he didn't bring that shit up. Regression of gameplay mechanics. I gotta disagree. Offline, I don't see that. I feel like the game mechanics have actually improved. I feel like they're more responsive. And also that's stupid to put that under business practices. I don't even know why you put that under there.
Mm.
Gambling to children. This is the only one. This is the only point that he has. 2K knows that a big part of the fan base is children. And I would say any company that put
OG, cover your ears.
yeah, I would say any company that puts shit like that into their game, knowing that a bunch of kids play the game, and I hammered Fortnite with that, so I have to be consistent. Um, Shame on you because you know that kids are going to go and run mommy and daddy's credit card up, and I agree with that. Number five, paywalling competitive balance. That's bullshit. Once again, you're talking about online shit. Nobody forces you to play online, bro. Nobody forces you to play online. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Why doesn't he blame his fellow gamers who want the easy way out and want to be able to buy their way to victory? That's not 2K. 2K put that shit. Remember, the first thing that 2K had in their game was virtual currency, but it wasn't shit you could buy. You had to play the game. You had to earn it. Okay, and then all of a sudden people complain, "Oh, I suck at the game, so why can't I just buy it?" And then they started buying it. So that was his compadre's fault, not
Yep.
2K's fault. Okay, 2K is just capitalizing on your insecurities, on your lack of skill in the game. So as far as business practices, he got 1 out of 5 there. Uh, so no, I mean that's absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous what he said about now 2K. I've said a lot of shit about 2K as far as a business. I think they bow out when shit gets hard for them competition wise against other games. I think 2K baseball is a direct example of that. I think
The
2K
hockey.
hockey is a direct example of that. So
Yeah, we need a hockey game, OG. We need a hockey game.
So I would say from that perspective, 2K as a company, I can indict them on that. But as far as business practices within NBA 2K, it doesn't hold much water to me.
I just think that sometimes people cry about having little time and needing to pay the boost their player, and then folks having too much time and hacking the game.
I mean, just because your friend is a 90 and you go to play on Park and you're a 75 doesn't mean you have to. I mean, that's peer pressure.
But you know what? You know what it also exposes?
Mhm.
The spending habits of players just now in a virtual sense. You
Yep.
want to spend all this VC all at once?
Yep.
No wonder they wanted to raise the price to $70 for the game.
I mean, it's
You couldn't control yourself to buy it at 70, and now you can't even control keeping the VC that you earn. You just want to spend, 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 spend. You don't care where it goes.
consumers open themselves up to this, and it's the same as buying these MUT packs because they need the best team to win online because they can't win with a stock team like and Kia talks about just opening random packs, putting a team together. They can't win like that. They got to have the best team. That's my issue. Is people giving into peer pressure because they see their friends doing shit. It's like, oh god, Pelican Man said 2K should do boxing. We've already seen
Mm.
that.
Yeah, Don King. That's all you got to say.
That. And look,
Super producers.
I'm not saying things couldn't be different now because I don't know what boxing developers they have access to, but based on what we saw before, Pelican Man,
Mm.
it was
You
rough.
see better. You see better boxing in Pelican Bay.
It, it was rough, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Prize Fighter was. Ugh. Did they make that Rocky game too?
I think that was somebody else.
That somebody else? Okay.
That
Yeah,
damn-
maybe.
But yeah, yeah, business practices. No, I'm sorry. And then he went on to say, what did he say? If you don't see the flaws in good for you, it's great to be blind to the truth. Ignorance is blitz, but if you want some gameplay issues, those aren't hard to note and find. Enjoy yourself. Let us continue to provide feedback. First off, I never told people to stop complaining. What I said that his complaining was unfounded. That's what I said. I would never try to censor anybody. Just know if you say some stupid shit, I'm going to call you out for it. And I wasn't even addressing him, and he got slapped down because he came to somebody else's tweet and wanted to say some stupid shit. All right? Now, I have respect for Obi-Wan Watson. Obi-Wan Watson's my guy. When your boys start coming and saying stupid shit in my mentions, that's when I take issue with it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like I said. I said nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying you got to buy 2K. He said I'm not holding a gun to them either. I can just continue to critique as you can continue to support their practices. Once again, I never voiced any support for the business practices. This is the shit that gets me. It's like if you add some logic to a situation, it's automatically you're supporting. It's not supporting. It's just telling you that what you're saying is so ridiculous that I can't be on your side either. That's really what it comes down to. It's okay to criticize 2K and to hold 2K accountable for making a better game, but to sit and act like, you know, they're making the game $70 at current gen or doing other shit that is, underhanded business tactics the way that we've seen Fortnite and, you know, Fortnite started out with aesthetic updates for their guns and aesthetic updates for their games, and then it turned into putting guns into the packs. That is underhanded business practice. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, in like my conversation with LT actually pushed my logic to to its max. But I enjoyed that conversation a lot better than I guess the conversation you had with.
Yeah, because the person you talk to has a brain, a function. I mean, LT is a very smart kid. We've seen that.
Right.
I won't call him a kid.
I thought
Smart guy.
yeah, but it was kind of funny. He was like, "Yeah, didn't you just recently buy a car?" I was like, "Don't like don't go there." Because I will walk away. But the thing was, it was like, but I walked away from what that dealership thought was a good deal, found a better deal on the same car elsewhere.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm willing to walk. And then it was just like, he went with the horse and buggy. I was like, yo, I was about to respond with like, Model T would probably be a better comparison, but horse and buggy, then shoot, I can just walk.
Well, here's the most important thing in the end of this.
Hmm.
EA, make your basketball game great again. And because you don't have a exclusive license to adhere to, bro. You don't have that. You actually have the license to an NBA game to make NBA games. You have the players. And guess what? Y'all are fumbling it. And you have fumbled it. We went over this. VF said, we got to do an episode about the history of NBA Live over the course of this console generation. Let me just run down the history for you real quick. For the people,
just spoil the episode, huh?
It's a summarization of it.
Expound upon it on another episode, but let's be honest. NBA Live 14 came out; it was a bust. NBA Live 15 was delayed, was it not?
Yeah, it was delayed a month.
Yeah, I thought it was delayed a week.
I think it was.
Maybe a month.
Yeah, it was delayed a month.
Okay.
16 came back. 16 was garbage. 17 was canceled. 18 was delayed. 19 was 20 didn't happen. 21's not gonna happen. That's
22 ain't gonna happen.
Right. I'm desperate. I got a big feeling that 22 is not gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying. So when you have a company like that is your direct opposition, and they're literally fumbling the ball, trying to compete with you, they had a clear opportunity to make up some ground, and they've just fumbled it.
A lot of people don't realize that Live 19 was actually a pretty decent game. Live 19. I mean, I'm literally playing it right now. It's not a bad game. Like, if you look on my PSN right now, I am playing Live 19 right now. It's not a bad game.
And you'll hear us talk about, as far as principles, you'll hear us talk about a lot of positives in NBA Live 19, as far as the player movement, as far as the help defense. A lot of those things in NBA Live 19 are positives. But when you follow up with not putting out a game and silence, I mean, this is what happens. Your competition says, well, look, I mean, what, and this isn't an indictment on anybody on the creative team, OG. This isn't an indictment on any of you. But the company is going to say, well, look, we're the only game out there right now. why do we have to go out of our way to go all in when nobody's pushing us? I mean,
What
Well,
was
shit.
that?
The thing I
What,
would say about them, well, for the most part, they do a good job of without it. I mean, to be honest, I know there's been instances where you see 2K15 with a major improvement, and in some cases maybe 18 and 19, where when live did have a game, but I haven't seen not one time this generation, I would say, that 2K has fell back.
but you know,
Unlike the years of 2K12 and 2K13.
but you know what? It kind of reminds me of that song that has that line. It's like, who can you run to? Like when the CEO of Take Two makes a statement like that, and when I try to oppose, he can come back and be like, well, who you going? What else you gonna play?
well,
Well,
and I hate to say it, but once again, Scott OG, this is not an indictment on a creative team.
man, he understands. Let's just say it.
I have to say it though. But I mean, the thing is, I mean, we've said it on the podcast. 2K15, 2K16, 2K17, 2K18. Can anybody decipher a difference between? I mean, other than the addition of Ace, but I mean,
And additions to my league.
in additions to my league, I mean, can you name anything else that was like mind-blowingly different up to 2K20?
Well, you got to understand that to an extent,
Oh wait a minute, hold on. The play motion. What they call it? Free motion, whatever the motion engine it was trying to transition away from the canned animations, knowing that this
Well,
generation they couldn't totally break free from it. That's why with the next gen, I feel like that's gonna be that's their break away from it.
But you also got to understand that you're in a situation where 2K almost was suffering from the MLB The Show syndrome.
Yes,
It was almost to that point.
man.
Mhm.
You want to talk about 2K21 next gen? They better overhaul that damn passing system. And this is directed towards you, Scott OG. That passing engine.
I don't think he controls passing. I think he's just defense.
Well, what was wrong with it?
He's the
Oh, like that.
defensive guy.
I thought he's on.
Czar is the offensive guy. Whenever you see Czar do his post, he's always talking about the offense.
Yeah, I
It's
forgot.
Scott OG's the defensive guy. Remember, you was like, I need to ask you some questions about help defense.
Remember.
Yeah.
All right, Czar, Mr. Too good for the community.
Yeah, Czar don't like me no more.
You know what? I told it like it is, but it is what it is, bro. Yeah, that passing engine needs to be overhauled. So yeah, we need to see that next gen. We need to see the ball as its own entity.
Oh, OG is like dribble signature styles last year. Come on now. Well, remember we did swoon over the flicking of the left stick to do when I swooned over that. I pulled that on Twitter. I was like, damn. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what we're saying is
Mhm.
all those changes are great, but they're not really overhauls. I mean, there are things that I felt like this generation needed to be overhauled. I mean, we still have invisible barriers on the sideline.
Yeah, especially after seeing VF stream, we don't have a slider to limit to get rid of that barrier.
So that's more of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about stagnating. Y'all put some great stuff in for what you add, but I just feel like
And the out of bounds barrier is more of a programming coding thing, and not
That's what I'm saying though. I'm like that would put the onus on the AI to understand where they are on the court.
Because they even did that with the offensive AI, as far as like knowing when they were in traffic this year, and they added something for that. So I think, these are all things that year to year, I see some improvements in the signature dribbling animations. I like them a lot. I really do.
Mhm.
I did forget about them, Scott OG. But even then, like I said, the passing, I feel like footwork on defense needs to be worked on as far as the on-ball defense. That could be.
I do have one issue to bring up is that goddamn sham guy move that keeps getting pulled off whenever I'm just trying to do something simple.
Yeah, that was another. kind of
that has caused me. Now, I feel like is it because maybe I hit the turbo at the wrong time, or is the fact that maybe the camera angle has something to do with it? Maybe because I do have it on absolute control, so I'm not afraid to say I'm making a mistake, but
and that's the thing. And that's the thing.
well, it depends on if he's injured or not. That I'm controlling John Wall, but yeah, most of the time I have John Wall, and I don't. Oh, we'll see.
And that's the thing, OG. Like I agree. There's always room for improvement. Um, and look, I've said NBA 2K20 is the greatest basketball game I've ever played. I will go on record and say that. But I feel like the same could have been said for all of those games prior to it. But then they still had things that like were years after the fact, still not really addressed.
No game is perfect. You're gonna find problems in every game.
No,
That's a given.
none of us are looking for perfection. Um, I
Okay, Daniel Daly, shut up.
what do you say?
He said the mistake is playing with the Wizards. I could beat you with the Wizards.
I mean,
But no, I was just like I said what I was saying in the beginning of this podcast. Like a lot of these games are way better than most people give credit for. And I'm not just talking about us. I'm just talking about just people in general who's always mad at these games. It's like you can really enjoy yourself playing these games. Like I've been playing a lot of games the past few days. 2K20, Live 19, a lot of racing games. I've been playing a little bit of everything. And like when you just sit back and play and just have a good time, like 9 times out of 10, these games are crafted pretty well
because the
overall.
one thing about 2K20 is, when you start finding issues with the game, you have to dig a bit. I will say that you do have to dig. There are some things that on the surface aren't bad at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you just sit back and like this is one thing I'll say about the whole, you know, the breakdown coalition who break down these basketball and these football games. These people literally go play a full game of Madden or 2K or whatever. And I mean, we can say what they want about Madden or whatever, but some people literally go through these games and finally find a problem in the third quarter and make a breakdown and make it seem like the whole game's fucked up. That's wrong. I don't care how much you may dislike a game or whatever, but if you play a full game and you wait till the middle of the second quarter or the middle of the third quarter to finally break down the game, then to say this is broken, then I have a problem with that.
So
Now to say that it never happens in the first snap of a play, yeah, of course. But trust me being in this community long enough to know, I've done breakdowns with certain people that we literally waited to the fourth quarter and we finally found something wrong.
Oh, there's NY Kid just pops up out of nowhere.
You know what I mean? Now, when you have to do that to find something wrong with the game, how broken is the game? You have to be honest with yourself at some point.
So Pelican Man, this is what I'll say about the passing. This is what me and Fife find as an issue with the passing. I think we're pretty much on the same page with this. So when you're playing basketball, basketball can be a very beautiful game where the ball doesn't touch the ground because the passes are being thrown into positions and the ball is moving at such a speed that the defense cannot keep up with it. And the thing about it is all the great passers could really throw a ball to a spot and it would be beautiful because they were basically leading a guy through his cut to where he wants him to end up for a layup. Jason Williams was great at this, especially with the flash. Magic was great at this. Jason Kidd. The list goes on and on. In 2K, the ball seems tethered to where the game feels like it's supposed to go. And I would rather have the ability to throw inaccurate passes that don't always end up in either, a crazy spot where it's so inaccurate that it's almost insulting, or, end up just warp speed into a guy's hand and he kind of does the speed up animation to get to it, right? I want the ball to be a separate entity, much like if you've played FIFA and PES.
And that's one of the things that haunt NBA Live. NBA Live has that problem where the ball is passed to go straight where it goes.
Yeah, so when you're playing basketball, there's a lot of things that you have to worry about. And, there's things in the passing game that I won't even get into. I mean, the footwork for the ball fakes when you go to pass the ball and then, the locations you can throw the ball, uh, the speeds of the passes, the trajectories of the passes. All this stuff is important where the ball feels like a free and flowing thing. It feels like its own entity, much like how the ball feels in great games where, like NFL games where, or just football games in general, where the game feels like you can throw the ball wherever you want to throw it. Madden 04, NCAA 06, Fever, all those games. That's what I want in the basketball game. And if that turns into more turnovers for people, they need to suck it up and get better. Period. Because that's
Yeah.
how basketball works. A lot of people turn the ball over. They think they're more accurate than they really are with their bounce passes or their chest passes or whatever it is. And then the other thing that comes with that is the defenders need to be more aware of when the ball is coming, when they see it, right? They need to put their hands up, and there's a bunch of things. I mean, animations for intercepting passes. There's a whole
See,
bunch.
that's another thing about that with you go back and play the old NBA lives. Like I was playing NBA Live before on my stream, but what I've done after stream, I went to play NBA Live '06 on the original X. Let me tell you something. That game is a very good basketball game that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
Like NBA Live '06 on the original Xbox PS2, it's a very good basketball game. You slow it down because those lives always been kind of fast. But if you slow it down, those interceptions for pass, the animations for passing, spacing, the game plays pretty well. And I think it's something that nobody talks about. I mean, obviously they don't. Nobody plays old games like I do. But when I do go back and play them, these games are very well put together. But that goes back to like around that generation, the end of the cycle of the original Xbox or the PS or Madden on the PS2. Those games, those football games, those basketball games are crafted very well. That to this day we're still talking about. Hey, look, we want stuff that's in this game in our new games now.
In Pelican Man, Fife is saying, try lead passing in 2K and tell me where the cutter always goes. You want to see great lead passing? Go and play NBA 2K7 on the 360 and tell me what you see. That game pretty much never has fast breaks stopped because there's a lead pass button. The lead pass works, and the thing is, the cutter always keeps running towards the basket, which is the best part about it. So you can actually lead him to the basket because he's going to keep running towards the basket instead of kind of stopping his momentum and having the pass do that. I feel like a lot of times in 2K, and I don't know if y'all have experienced this, it seems like fast breaks are stopped by the passes, by the location of the passes. You'll have a 3-on-1 and you'll try to lead a guy and the pass will kind of slow his momentum down. Then he'll take the jump shot you didn't want to take, right? There's a lot of things that happen in 2K based on the passing that I just don't like. NBA 2K7 was great as far as the lead passing was concerned.
I think I may be one of the few people that don't have a problem with the passing in the game.
You
I'm
don't?
like,
2K20. No, I don't have a problem with it
I,
either.
I
Like I
feel
said,
I
I've been
feel because I feel like there obviously there are multiple ways to use the pass lead, but um, and a lot of times if we're constantly holding down the left stick, that often influences that lead pass. So it's just like if you want to lead somebody away from the basket, you're playing broadcast camera, you're always going to move the left analog left or right. So if you're going towards the right, you're going to hold it there, and then if you even think you're leading somebody to the basket, you're actually leading them away from the basket. It's
right.
almost like you have to angle it up and away from the player for the lead pass to put them towards the basket.
Yeah, but
And that's what I had to adjust to.
even then, a lot of times guys just stop running, their momentum stops, and they throw a pass in a dumb area. And I mean, it needs to be overhauled. The ball needs to be its own separate entity. That's
I
all.
think
Well,
I
that
think my
that I agree with. I
my
think
main
it does
thing,
need to be its own entity.
yeah, my main thing with 2K20, you just have some AI logic issues. I think that's one of the main things about NBA 2K. I think it still has some legacy.
Fix
It
them.
still has some legacy issues when it comes to just basic, AI movement or just AI logic, not necessarily movement. And then sometimes the game could feel a little over animated at times.
And the
But
thing is,
other
AI,
than that, I think it plays a very good game of basketball.
it does. It's just the small things that kind of hinder the game sometimes and make me not really enjoy it. Like the movement system, I'm glad that they're going to overhaul that. I'm interested to see what else they're going to work on. Um,
I think they're over that movement system is pretty much just them breaking away from their can animation system because I know that that's what they were kind of trying to break away from in this current gen, and obviously they weren't going to be able to do it.
and if that's the case, that's great. I mean,
Mm.
um, what I would like to see, and this is a small thing, is signature running animations for the stars and how they move and how they, operate. That would add um, another level of immersion. Um,
B5 saying that I'm not falling for your bait. Talking about me.
yeah, I know. But yeah, like I said, man, 2K, 2K is great, but I just see the room for improvement, and it's not really me knocking the game so much. It's just I see what the game could be, and I see a couple of small things that are holding it back from being, damn near a perfect game. So that's all that is.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can understand that.
He said,
I think at the end of the day, and I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think with most of,
did he say
I
nitpicking?
I
Dead
can say,
ass?
yeah, I can say like most of the games in general. I think we got it good when it comes to. I think we had it better back in the day. But I think we got a pretty good overall. I mean, with me, even with Madden 20, the main thing about Madden 20, in my opinion, is they need a little bit of a better franchise mode, and that runner animation has to go. I was watching somebody on Twitter trying to show somebody running into the touchdown. Literally, their torso and their upper body don't move. The only thing that's moving is their arms and their legs, and it looks so squatty. It looks nasty.
The
And
Madden,
well, they honestly, I just think they need to change their player model. They need the pads to be separate
the Madden,
from
Yeah,
the body.
the Madden 21 running animations aren't. I mean, they're kind of improved.
yeah, I mean, they needed to go back to Madden 18. Those run animations was just right. I don't know what happened, but the run animation in 20 is the worst.
I like
I've never that they make APF running animation looks good, and you know how I feel about APF running animation. At
Man,
least that,
you want to talk about bait? Put B5's comment up here.
what he
Said the bottom line is everyone has an acceptance level. No nitpicking, Dan. Some people accept less.
right? He's absolutely true
great.
about that.
That's fact.
That's facts. He's actually right. Some
Yeah, but
people,
in this situation, he's baiting. That's baiting.
I mean,
Well,
some people,
That's bait.
you know
but I mean, like I said, I like overall, man. I think around this point of sports games, I think we're in an okay spot. I ain't gonna say we're in a good spot because we should have a pretty decent live 20. We should have we should have a better FIFA.
we,
And,
we should have a live 20 period.
no, we should have a live 20. We should have
It should be alive.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? We should, I mean,
Not
when you
dead,
look at these
but
sports
alive.
titles, and what they have to offer, there's no reason for Live 19 not to be built on to be a better game. I mean, if we really want to talk about what's wrong with sports titles, for the most part, the games that are out now are just okay. When I feel like when you look at the past generations where sports games was on fire back then, you look at the late, 2000, between 2005 to 2010, most sports games were on fire back then. And like now, we don't even get close to that. And we're just getting average to slightly below average stuff that's just okay, and it shouldn't be that way. Especially with the technology we have now, it should not be like that.
So wait a minute. I got a question for B5. So you getting that golf game on the 21st, or whenever it comes out this month?
I forgot that game comes out.
Yeah, 2K has a golf game. Well, it's
Yeah,
not 2K's, but their name is on it. It's actually the indie studio that made that game.
I'm picking that up. I'm
Yeah.
definitely picking that up personally.
All I know is he better be on those links.
I'm getting Battlegrounds. I'll be
Man,
the first to admit I'm getting Battlegrounds.
See, and it's funny because I remember before I was just like so against it. I'm probably not going to get it, but I am not as against it as it is because now to make the correlation that they could do that with a football game with 2K.
Like
So
it looks fun. I mean, I'm not really expecting any simulation aspects from it, but it's something that I can have some fun with, and it's 2K is going to come with the modes, right? I mean, they always have a lot of modes.
mm,
Um, but I can just give a shout out to 2K for being the most consistent game. And we're coming to the end of this console generation, so we have to do, I guess, a review of some sorts close to the.
mm.
But I have to give a shout out to 2K for being, I would say, the most consistent sports game of this console generation by far.
I
and
can agree.
and then towards the end, to get away from sports, I would give a shout out to what is it, Sony? What do they call themselves now? Sony
Interactive.
Studios? No, no, they don't even call themselves Sony Interactive because remember they changed their branding for the next generation, but it's
Look,
like Sony Studios or something like that for all those exclusives, those single players. Even though they will be on PC at some point in time, that provided a nice immersive experience like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima,
uh,
and The Last of Us 2, even though some of y'all hated it because the woman looked like a man.
I ain't got a problem with Last of Us 2. I really have a problem with God of War. That game did not feel like God of War game. Personally, that game was trash.
let me talk.
Wow, you went the hard eight route? Damn.
I'm dead serious. It felt like, to me, it was almost borderline like the Battlefield Hardline thing. Like,
Man,
it didn't feel like a Battlefield game.
that soundtrack for God of War was banging.
Well,
I'm
they ain't got
sorry.
nothing to do with gameplay compared to
Yeah,
the God of
it
War.
had everything. It kept me immersed in the game.
Well, when you play God of War 3 and you go play God of War
I
now, and
was,
you try to tell me they're two totally different games.
yeah, one's like button mashing, the other one is Elder Scrolls like, or
Exactly.
Demon
Exactly.
Souls, and I actually prefer the Demon Souls
Okay, so
type of gaming.
let me talk about this last topic that Pete Frenna brought up because, you know, Pete Frenna sent me this video of
Uh,
Dubby. Uh,
oh yeah, that's right.
was talking. He titled this "How I Feel About the User in Madden 21 and Madden in General." This is a clip from my podcast I do every Tuesday. That means he's podcasting tonight. Who gives a fuck?
Hold on, wait a minute. He did what now?
He made a video about the user, on defense in Madden 21. So I'm just gonna play this,
Okay.
and we're gonna see what you guys think about this. Never had a problem. Can y'all hear this?
I can hear it.
Okay.
Any year of Madden, I never
When
complained.
you guys in the chat hear this.
How good Anthony Barr was, how good Lurker is. Never complained about it because if you ask any good passer, right, the user is like lava. You guys ever played that game when you're a kid and you're like, yo, I can't step on the black squares because that's lava. The user is lava. Like, you literally are afraid to throw near that person. The whole goal of a passer is to dictate where the user goes.
Let's pause.
I'm already sick.
He says the goal of a passer is to dictate where the user goes.
That you know what that is? That is straight up tournament talk.
That's straight up tournament talk. So you're telling me that if a guy's open on the opposite side of the field, you're not paying attention because you care about what the user is doing. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue here.
It is 1,000,000% my job as a passer and a play designer to make sure.
Wait a minute. Pause.
No. Let him finish. Let him finish. I got to hear this. Let him finish.
Go ahead, DJ. Go ahead.
Pause it. What plays are you designing?
I guess he's
You
talking.
can't create plays in the game. What the hell is he talking about? He designed the playbook, maybe, but not the plays.
What was he saying? Because what was he saying?
To make sure the user is not confusing me and to make it slow and make it to where it can only, like, to make it how it is now, because people are getting a bunch of routes covered because they don't know how to put the right routes on the field, or they have two.
Pause.
You can't put.
Well, I can't take him serious. I mean, everything he's saying is based on making his own plays and playing in tournaments. I have
But you
nothing for
can't
him.
make your own plays in Madden.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. I sent a video and I posted a video on Twitter of Madden 20 Lurker. It was a compilation of guys that were literally running up to the line of scrimmage and then darting and covering 3 routes at a time. Now you're telling me that the great minds of football that designed these plays with these routes at different levels of the field, somehow you're smarter than all of them for designing your routes? Get the fuck out of here. And by the way, yes, your head still looks like a thumb. All right, let's continue.
Never had a
Let me get back
it's
to
slow and make it to where it can only like to make it how it is now because people are getting a bunch of routes covered because they don't know how to put the right routes on the field or they have 2 slants running right into each other. The Drini X, yes, a player can cover 2 people if they're in the same spot. A player can cover 4 people if they're in the same spot. You have all the field.
Okay, all right. When have you ever seen 4 players in the same spot on offense? Unless it was a Hail Mary.
This is tournament talk, man. I can't take this dude serious.
Let me finish the rest of this video.
To work with. How wide is the NFL field? I believe it's 54 yards is the width of the NFL field. And obviously 120 yards wide or long pause.
Wow.
54 yards wide. You have all that space to use your receivers to make sure their lurker doesn't go anywhere. You know? Because you can watch these great Madden players. Great Madden players might throw picks. They might throw interceptions, but they rarely ever get lurked. In all the tournament Madden that happens, it's rare to lurk a player. It is rare to lurk somebody, user pick them. It's rare because we understand to not throw near that player. We understand how to put routes on the field to control where the user goes. We understand that the sideline is our friend because the user isn't going to go all the way out there. We understand that as offensive players. And if you do not understand that and you're getting 4 routes alerts and you cannot control the user and the user is too good for you, then you, my friend, are not a very good passer. And it's okay to acknowledge that and then get better.
Okay, so Thumbhead, couple things. Once again, he doesn't see. He's talking about how wide the field is, but does he actually realize how much of a margin 5 yards is on a field? Does he actually get this? Like, does he get depth and width with players? Does he get how much zone, or I should say how much yardage each player in a zone covers? I don't think he truly has ever run on a football field to actually understand how much space that is that they're covering when they're jumping these routes. Because if you're running up to the line of scrimmage, okay, and let's just say the line of scrimmage is at the 20, then you're darting over across the field to the flat to cover a running back coming out of the backfield. Then you're darting up 10 yards behind you to the fucking dig route. Then you're darting over to the opposite dig route. Who is doing that in the NFL? Nobody. And they post these plays with Tyrann Mathieu covering 3 guys at once where the routes did happen to be in a 5 to 7 yard radius. And Tyrann Mathieu is an elite athlete. That's why he can do that. And once again, it was a special situation because it was a drag route and it was a dig and it was, another route coming into the zone. That's not bad play design. That's literally just Tyrann Mathieu diagnosing the play and helping guys within the zone because he's a guy that moves around a lot and has to, help a lot of these corners. It's like, and just like Kia said, the whole issue is the user is faster than the ball. And that's the key. The user physically, and you know why they're faster than the ball in Kia? They're faster than the ball because they don't have to slow down, decelerate, turn. All the things that they added in Madden 21 that he's complaining about. See, he doesn't want to talk about that shit. He wants to talk about the straight line speed and how they're slower. He doesn't want to talk about the agility, the fact that you have to decelerate and turn, the fact that you have to bend your knees and lean, all that shit. He doesn't want to talk about that because he's a tournament player, like you said. If you can't design your plays, there's no designing plays, numbnuts. You're making hot routes at the line, 15, 16 at a time, hoping that you can break the meta, and that's your whole plan when you're playing online. But people who play against a computer don't want to be able to do that shit against the computer. And people who play against real life people, their friends or, on the couch, or even if they're playing a friend online, if I'm playing DJ or VF, we don't want to be able to do that. Why? Because it's fucking unrealistic. It's just like I said the other week when we were talking about this shit. There's no reason I should start out at the top of the key and be able to close out to a guy in the left corner and close out to a guy in the right corner on the same play.
Exactly.
So he can miss me with that whole the users are slow because people can't design plays. No, I'm sorry, bro. You and Clint Oldenburg need to go and design some plays, and maybe both of you can get a new spot in the NFL. Well, you can get a new spot, he can get an old spot in the NFL, and we'll see how y'all succeed, because it seems like you've never even thrown a football or covered anybody on a football field, because you don't get how they're moving around on a football field and how quick they are and what elite athletes they are. And at the same time, they still can't cover the amount of space that they do in Madden because they move faster than the ball, like Kia says. There's no, and another thing that me and DJ talked about that was an improvement on the beta was the fact that now guys get into their routes a lot quicker. They're not slowing down. They don't have those handcuffs on them anymore, or ankle weights, whatever you want to call it, that slow them down and give the defense a chance. That's another reason why guys are open. It's like I don't get how people say this stupid shit. You really don't know how much yardage of zone you're covering when you're in a middle zone or a flat or a deep zone. They really don't get that. They just talk. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's me saying in a nutshell. He has no idea what he's talking. He's looking at it from a video game perspective. And with that being said, I have nothing for him. When you start talking stuff like that, this guy has no idea what happens on Sundays, Saturdays, Fridays. Hell, he doesn't know when Fabio is playing Pee Wee football. He has no idea. All he knows is the mechanics of what's on that in that controller. With that being said, it's like, okay, you want to play video game ball. I want to play authentic ball.
Imagine if that shit was happening on 2K. Imagine if a center could go and hedge a fucking screen, get up to the shooter at the top of the key on the pop, then go over to the corner and close out on that guy. People would be having a fucking field day on that game, saying, like, what is happening with this? Why is this guy whipping around the field like that?
Right.
That's like increasing the game speed on 2K. Like you increase it to 70, 80, they will fly around the court, and that's not realistic at all. So he needs to just learn to adapt. Isn't that what tournament players, especially your better ones, because I don't know his tournament history since he last won, but why has he got time doing videos now? Podcasts?
Does he not understand also that when you play zone, you're automatically giving something up, you're conceding something, and it's a matter of forcing the quarterback to throw to the spot where a guy is, whether you're disguising your shell or if you're forcing him to hold the ball longer as a result of covering some zones better than he expected, and then you get a coverage sack, or the fact that in a cover two, for example, the hole is between the safety and the fucking cornerback, and he has to make a perfect throw to complete it. It's things like that. You know where the gaps are. It's a matter of making up for it. He doesn't get that. He thinks everything should just be covered. Well, not to throw at the user. What are you talking about?
I mean, that's what it's hard to get mad at stupidity. You just understand what it is and just like, all right, this motherfucker's dumb. Keep moving.
It's crazy, like that they say shit like this, bro.
And plus, when you let me, I will look at the video game aspect of what he's talking about. First of all, there's no mechanic that can lure the user away from anywhere.
I don't know what he's talking about. That's
what I'm saying.
That got to be something that got to be something that they.
It said that it is the user's job to lure it's the quarterback's job to lure the user. Well, the quarterback doesn't have a mechanic other than a pump fake, and a bad one at that. And some people don't even have a pump fake ability. So it's just like, no. I'm like, you don't even have a vision cone to really because that was the last thing that you could do to lure users away from who you think was going to get the ball to who you actually were going to get the ball. That was a skill mechanic, and players like him cried about that mechanic. So he could shut the fuck up for all I'm saying.
But just think about that when he's saying that your job is to lure the user, that basically means that the other 10 players on the field aren't doing anything, correct?
Pretty much.
Because that means that no other spot on the field is covered and you only have to worry about the user. That's stupid within itself. If you're a user, you have one zone to cover, just like every other player on the fucking field.
Right.
So for you to say, oh, you gotta lure the user, it has nothing to do with route combinations, bro. It has nothing to do with route combinations because a lot of these play designs were around way before you were even fucking born, Dubby. Okay, a lot of these route combinations, a lot of these play concepts were around long before you even watched football. Tried to throw the football back to your daddy and threw a fucking duck. All right, a long time before that. That's when these plays were out there. So don't talk about play design like you're some type of next coming of Bill Walsh. All right, you play video game football, and you play on how the game moves.
He Bill washed up. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Damn.
He's Bill washed. That's what he is. Like,
because I know when I was 3 years old, my first hit was a home run.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like when you look at people like this, they truly don't understand. It's almost like I'll give DJ will understand this. Remember when they said you couldn't stay in front of anybody on 2K?
Mm.
And it's because they were using weak defenders that shouldn't have been able to check anybody? It's the same shit.
And even trying to use the defender in that case, sometimes the AI pulls off moves depending upon who the dribbler is.
Yes.
That will separate. And we had arguments with Smitty about the whole can sequence. Is it a 2-man sequence? No, it's a separate sequence where the dribbler is able to separate himself, and even you as a user can't even stay in front of him. So you got to have a better defender as the user to be able to stay in front of the guy.
That dude's using Rudy Gobert checking.
Oh, God.
Like
Rudy Gobert had a hard time catching alley-oops the other night.
He sure didn't have a problem catching Corona.
Oh, shut up.
I was just about to say. But no, I mean, so that's what I'm saying is like these dudes don't get how sports work in real life, bro. You could be the most gifted athlete ever. There's a reason why these sideline to sideline players are coveted the way they are. It's the reason why Jadeveon Clowney keeps getting a chance from these teams. That's the reason why guys like Darius Leonard and Levante David are coveted in Jalen Smith, because they're the few guys that can do it. Meanwhile, you pick any old guy on the field and you think you should just be able to do that. Oh, there's never been a problem with Lurker. There's never been a problem with usering in Madden. Yeah, the reason you say that is because it's been bullshit for all these years, and it's finally been put to a spot where you have to have an elite athlete to be able to do it, and you have an issue with it.
And you know what's funny? Because Bill, I remember telling you this during the beta, was I had a good story of using a free safety. I always use it a free safety anyway, but being able to diagnose where the ball is gonna go, and then being right there to pick it off, and just glide right into that passing lane to pick it off, even as the receiver was splitting the two of us. The fact that I thought on this play, maybe I should not play as deep or over top. Maybe I should play underneath a little bit and see where it goes. And boom,
so
that's how it's done.
So you're a shutdown safety.
Oh boy.
Come on, man.
You say you play safety. I'm just asking.
I mean,
but it's all about diagnosing the play. If you're saying that you want to use it to cover 3 routes, then maybe you just do a poor job at diagnosing plays.
No, the problem is that Dubby's never experienced having to choose one route that he can cover and having to choose the one that is the biggest threat to his fucking defense, because he's been able to fly around the field. And once again, that's real football. If you're in zone, you have to choose the route that is the most dangerous, the most detrimental to your zone defense.
Yeah, because
I'm going to pick that one.
Yeah, because even the sequence I just talked about, I was playing cover 4, and there was no threats in my column zone, deep in my my deep column zone, and it was just like, well, I don't need to go deep. I can stay short, and that's where the route came my way. It was like, all right, I'm right here. Boop.
How many guys have been able to use her? And this is a play that should have worked a long time ago and finally does work to a certain extent. Corner strike. How many
Hmm.
times have guys been able to use her and jump that corner route after jumping that flat route? It's not. It's not realistic.
It's not even ideal.
That corner route is 15 yards upfield. Like, what
All
are we
right.
talking about? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Guys go from that to having to pick. Oh shit! Okay, am I gonna jump this corner route, or am I
Hmm.
gonna jump this flat?
Gotta make real decisions. You can't be non-committal.
And trust that
That's
the other guys on your defense are going to make the play. And if they don't, then guess what? That means you chose the wrong play. That's on the coach.
I'm like that's just having a user and having the game to play the way it used to play just means that you don't know what the fuck is coming.
All
So
right, let's look.
you're just trying to compensate for that by having somebody that can fly across the field for no reason.
All right, let's look at some of these comments real quick. Let's see. Chris Thomas said, "Bruh, not wrong one." He said, "Bruh said that he had a hard time playing red because everybody is not 99 with overall 90 speed." Yeah, I believe W said something like that. Mr. Ham said, "Man, 10 seem to be moving in the right direction by slowing player movement down." I can agree with that. Man 10 did pretty good with that. Let's see. Pelican Man asked, "Do you think NFL 2K Smurf will be better than Madden?" Don't think so. Um, he calls the arcade version Smurf. Let's see. Pete says, "How many stock plays in Madden are useless because the user can move way too fast?" That is a very good question, and it's a lot of it,
Flanker dig.
yeah. It's been that way for a while too, and it's a problem because some of the plays are actually pretty good looking plays.
Really good looking plays. Especially those how about the quarterback rollouts that never work
Yeah, that's another one.
because of the timing.
Mr. Ham says more than one alignment should be able to intuitively compensate for gap assignments and blitzes when necessary. Let's see. Spec says, Specs Pooh says, "I feel like these guys got to play football to understand why that's impossible." Well, good luck with that.
They do.
I feel like some of them would get broke up.
And look at Kia. And look at Kia. He plays online and he says a good 80% of them. And that's at a minimum.
Bill said another thing about NBA 2K passing: can we get great passes like Bron Lonzo and some skill separation from guys? Yeah, I agree. That should be there.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, I agree with this. OG says no matter what game you make, it's always about balance. I agree.
Bingo.
And OG, you know what the great thing is about your game that I can 100% give y'all credit for? Everything y'all put in that's a tool for offense, you have a counter for it defensively as far as the defensive strategies in the game. Now, at one point, it wasn't necessarily the case. Y'all one year just really sold out on putting everything defensively in the game. Now, everything that an offense does, you can counter it, whether it's pick and roll coverages or pre-rotating to a guy. And that is what you're talking about when you say balance. Everything is balance. Everything is offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. If this guy has an X factor ability, that has to be the one to respond to it. If a guy has posterizer, you have to have a guy on the other side with a racer. That makes things like that. That makes the strategy of the game a lot more paramount. So I completely agree. No matter what game you make, it has to be balanced.
Absolutely. I mean, even if their ratings are skewed, I mean, it's a level of balance. Like, say, for instance, if you're playing with somebody who's an 88 and you're going up against somebody who's like a 69, that level of balance is going to show based on what the rating is, not just because. I mean, that goes with hand in hand too, because everything just can't be parody. Like it has to show like this is why this person's great. You
And
know
the
what I mean?
unfortunate part is we've seen things added in Madden in separate years that either were slanted towards the defense or the offense.
Yeah, I mean, they literally put that on the back of the box. Look at Madden 04 to Madden 05. You know what I'm saying? Look at Madden 15 to Madden 16.
It's like
You
Smitty said. Smitty made a good point. He said you have to make a decision as far as what you try to cover in the secondary. You can't take everything away. You can try to put yourself in the vicinity and make a legit play. I mean, this dude W probably thinks that in 4 verts you should be able to jump the X receiver straight to the wide receiver across the damn field.
Yeah, I mean that's how tournament players. I mean, you got to think about it. When they first heard about the player movement was different, a lot of people were mad because their linebacker couldn't cover 3 routes. I mean he's that guy. He's that guy.
And then
Says, oh, good.
on top of that, I do have a question. Aren't these the same people that often switch a player on a given play? So it's just like,
Yep.
well, if you're using the same player, then maybe that's your own damn fault.
They
I
always
thought you.
play. They always want to make the play. They want to be the guy every
Yep.
time.
All the time.
And you can tell they don't want the computer to do anything because they say, well, why should a fumble be forced if the computer's the one that hit me and dumb shit like that.
Right, like
your lineman block, you fucking idiot.
Right.
Why don't they just stand there and let the defensive players just run?
Yeah, I like to see
that's funny. They want the linemen to block. They want the guys to run the routes. They want the people to block for them when they want people to run. They want people to block for them when they run the ball. But if the defense hits you, you don't want them to fumble. Like, wait a minute.
It's amazing how they're all about stick skills until you start talking about shit that the computer has to do for them to be successful. All of a sudden, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's like Khalil Mack hit me, but I shouldn't fumble. Okay, all right, whatever.
So Kia said this is why people play out of 1 or 2 formations. Those are usually the only formations in the playbook where you can run and still have a couple of pass plays that aren't unrunnable versus a human. My thing is my favorite formation, if any team has it, is shotgun doubles. Because I feel like that's the best combination of plays where they get into their routes right away and you still have a couple of run plays to work. Quite frankly, there are a lot of formations where the passing plays they don't develop quick enough.
My thing is these people like this, they just need a separate game. Let's just cut all the bullshit. Give them a separate game and stop trying to cater to everybody with one level of software. It does not work that way.
Friend said Master Gainer says thinks quarterbacks shouldn't fumble on sack.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. You got a lot of tournament guys that think like this, that they think that quarterback should not fumble. Like, if 2 linemen or 2 defensive ends get to a quarterback and sack him, he should hold on to the ball. And 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be the case unless they curl up before they get hit.
Just imagine playing my team and thinking LeBron should play 48 minutes because there's no stamina. That's what they think about their team. You should play.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I don't understand it. It's like at some point you gotta have some level of common sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's just it makes no sense that a quarterback would never fumble. That's like saying a wide receiver would never have an incomplete, would never drop the ball, or you're usering, but you may drop an interception. You think that's a problem. All the while, you're trying to do this with a defensive tackle. What the fuck are we doing?
And he got. I was about to say. Well, Smitty also starts to say is that from watching tournaments, the CPU makes at least 60 to 7% of the plays for them anyway. Right. Even with these guys screaming about stick skills. Like, wow.
Right.
And Kia says he agreed with me. He said I play out of doubles 95% of the time. It's almost the best. It's always the best formation in every team's playbook, and that's because it seems to have the best spacing on the field. Another thing that Madden has an issue with is spacing according to routes and how they develop. That's another thing that they've needed to work on, and Madden 21 is a bit better. Ravens Nation says it needs to be separated how... What does that say?
Running back...
No, it needs to be separated how Rainbow Six Siege is when you compare.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, what is that? Okay, yeah. Rainbow Six Siege is when you compare pro players to ranked players. Yeah, I mean,
and weren't you gonna say something that put him in the game? Said I think he was going to talk about. He was like correct personnel to let's see, but you should have to have the correct personnel to. In order to successfully, I'm reading exactly as he typed it, execute specific strategies. So, I'm like, he's right.
Yeah, just like OG Film Room said. OG said.
Wow, about to say.
I know I've called him his own name. I want J.R. Smith's 3-ball rating, but I don't want his defensive IQ. Right? They only want the positives from their players, right? You want a guy like. You want a guy like fucking, like I'll give you an example from back in the day. You want a guy like Warwick Dunn, But when it comes time to get a 3rd and 1 and run up the middle, and you see that his break tackle isn't all that, you're like, oh, fuck that. I don't want him anymore.
Fuck that. They still trying to use them and say it's wrong because you can't.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are the type of players you're dealing with. Those are the ones.
And like OG said, I mean, you know, I'm finding that with the defensive settings that you adjust, at some point, the only thing you can blame on the game, especially with my sliders on the roster, is the personnel you put on the court. Sometimes they just aren't up to snuff. And these guys can't accept that when they pick a shitty team or when they make a shitty team. They can't accept that. So they have to account for that by having one player cover the entire field, which is not how you play zone defense. It's never been played that way. Never. Right. Never been played that way. So, yeah, I mean, these guys, I want Peyton Manning to be able to scramble like Vic. Yeah, and then not fumble.
Yep, that's how they want it.
So that's my thing. I just want these dudes to realize how dumb what they're saying is. And when you're a tournament gamer, you're so much into this user versus user shit. But like I said, they don't realize how much the computer is really doing for them.
Right.
Absolutely. I just think at the end of the day, when we looking at these sports titles, you got to keep it grounded within the sport. The problem is you have all these tournament people, or you have people who like to play Madden Ultimate Team. They don't want to be grounded within the sport. They want to play another type of sport within the game. In other words, these guys want to play NFL Blitz in a simulation football game. They want to play NBA Jam in an NBA 2K game. It's like that type of stuff needs to change. Like I said, EA has a perfect opportunity to go ahead and make this game for these people. Don't worry about live, damn live. Just go ahead and make NBA Jam or make NBA, I'll wear a Superman cape and do all this crazy stuff in the basketball realm and go back. They already got the game, Madden Arcade. I was playing that the other day. Go ahead and make another Madden Arcade. Kind of dumb it down a little bit so it don't be too much over the top, and just let them have that over there and let us have what the game is falling to the purposes it's already built for. It's built for these type of things, for it to be a straight up football game, but they try to cater to too many people on one piece of software, and this is where the mix up gets. You already seen where they were trying to do simulation comp in arcade style. That's never going to work on one set of software. It has to be done somewhere else.
And the thing is, I've played other games under EA's hood online, and God, I mean, DJ, remember when we played that threes mode?
How
toxic those dudes were playing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just how online set up for a lot of EA games. I played FIFA online. Why I did it to myself, I don't know. There was a guy just running around the field trying to steal the ball from every guy I passed to. I'm like, bro, you're leaving a complete zone open, but in FIFA, they feel like they can get saved by that.
They need to do something to where they need to just give it a game a different SKU and just give them that game. Give it to them. At this point, they're not going to lose money on it. I don't care what anybody says. They make too much money off the TV revenue of these tournaments and off the MUT cards on the back end. If you give them their separate game, I promise you will make your money back. It makes no sense at this point for them to keep it on one game. I totally don't understand that. It's ridiculous at this point. It really is.
Because
you're making billions of dollars off of microtransactions. You mean to tell me put out a digital copy of another game to cater to them is going to hurt?
Then at one point they had a tournament edition Madden. Which was like, it didn't change the game, but it was like literally a tournament edition
or something like that. I think
this was like back in the day, but still,
it's just like, why not? It's just it's very ineffective, and honestly, I think it's cost effective to do so. It's ridiculous.
Do you guys even think the 3 mode?
No, it didn't.
Let me tell you why it never worked. When they took those running animations out of Madden 19, that's when it was dead. Because the issue is, it's fine for you to tune shit like how often interceptions are dropped and things like that on sim versus comp. As soon as dudes on comp start complaining about gameplay mechanics, it's not going to work. Because you have to take it out of the entire game.
Yeah, because 2K had that experiment they got rid of simulation comp and arcade, separate from the difficulty. Because remember, they had you can play simulation superstar or competition superstar, and what it was just yeah, I what I interpret it as is that there was just too many complaints based on individual experiences, and then it was just like you said, they had to make changes, and it would affect everybody, and it was hard to just keep it just to the competitive mode
Yeah,
and
you can't
whatnot.
take planning out of one. You got to take that out of the game.
Because they took RPM out of Madden. That what was it? A couple
19.
years ago? Yeah, a couple Maddens ago. Well, now since we're at 21, a couple Maddens ago, and it was just like,
Yeah, if
fuck.
you take RPM out, and that's what the big issue was when we were talking about the beta was the quarterback animations, the quarterback fidgets at the line. They couldn't just do that for one mode.
hmm
You had to just take it out. Period. The walk ups to the line, which we liked, took those out.
Oh God, yeah, that is like I think what started the downhill trend as far as like my feelings on Clint started with that because it was like, oh, the faster the fun. I was like, I don't care
Well, I
about
mean,
how fast.
but that goes back to tell you they're trying to cater to the fast paced arcade style of the group. Like
Right,
we want to be able to walk up to the line and look at the defense. You
Which
know what I'm
right,
saying?
because
you should be able to have the. It's like I don't get why. I'm pretty sure
and then that penalty,
post game cutscenes you could turn on and off, right?
yeah,
Games you
but they,
turn post play cutscenes or something like I think off.
oh, yeah, you can go occasional, you can go off, so it's just your broadcast camera or whatever 2K cam experience without any cuts away. Even with the free throw line, they kind of have it to where I think they have two options where you can have it like a broadcast for the free throws, so you can take free throw shots in any of those views that pops up, versus just a regular way, and you just take it from the broadcast view or 2K view. Um, Damn, what was I gonna say? Damn, I forgot.
Well, put him in the game. Say he says, I don't know if you have the competitive Madden players need the illusion that they're playing real football to fit their foolish beliefs that they're actually good at football. Yeah, let them have it on another disc.
But if they want that illusion, then have them go outside and try to run around in a circle without leaning or slowing down at all.
No,
And then they'll see how hard it is to cover.
let them have that on another disc. That's all I'm saying. It's get to the point now. It's ridiculous that we're still trying to, cater to everybody on one game.
And that's why that dude that tried to come at the whole community, whatever his name was, with his old light skinned dumbass, whatever he was saying about, the issue is that comp guys and sim guys can't agree. Yeah, because we want two completely different games. That's why we're never going to agree. One side wants realism, the other side wants fun. Just like they talked about 2K the other day. Oh, what would you rather have, fun or realism? You fucking serious? You're in the business of making a sim game. So what do you think people want? Sim can be fun. Realism can be fun. It's supposed to be fun. You're having fun replicating what you see on TV. So I don't know where realism got separated from fun in the first place. If fun means you don't have to take ratings into account, then fine, of course, yeah.
I can answer that. I mean, you have some people who just want to play and not worry about the intricacies of all the aspects of the sport, and I understand that. I mean, you're almost looking at people who, let's say, for instance, they used to play the games pre-sixth generation, or they play the games very, very casually. They're not really worried about ratings or players or whatever the case may be. They want them to play like their counterparts, but they're not as in depth as we are.
Yeah,
I kind of understand where people just legitimately just want to enjoy themselves compared to people who just want to have a simulation game.
DJ talked about before, put the game on a lower difficulty.
Yeah, I can see the difference between the two.
Then put it on pro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying there's a difference. It's not just one way or no way. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, 2K has always been a sim. There's never been any mistake about that. So now all of a
Yeah.
sudden to start, and then somebody brought that up before. I think it was Ravens Nation asking if they're actually going to go through with that. Only perfect releases as are going in. Just to speak on that for a second, that's ridiculous.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. I don't agree with it, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's way too many people that are vying for that. Not I don't agree with it.
For
That would be stupid.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't agree with it, but I would not be surprised that they do that. It's just too many people asking for it. Not I don't think they should. I don't think it should. I don't think it should cave, but I would not be surprised when they do.
because the thing is, who the hell is Micah Parsons?
Yeah, who knows?
Um, because the thing is, nobody's gonna have a perfect release when, for example, their hands getting hit on their release or the shot is contested. So how can
Right.
you then say that those shots are gonna go in automatically when it's a perfect release? I just don't like that idea.
No,
I don't
I don't like it either. But
that's
that request picked up way too much steam that I thought it would. I thought it would be like a minority of people will say something, but it's way too many people asking for it, and I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to believe that it's going to happen. And do I agree with it? Hell no, but I would not be surprised within by Madden by 2K22 that's going to be the norm in the game. And it shouldn't be, but I see it all the time. It's too many people asking for it. It's terrible, but and I
Yeah,
think that's one of the reasons where um, Mike Wing asked that question because there's a lot of people. It's really bad how many people are asking for that.
yeah, because I liked it better when not every green release was going in.
I like it better when there's no meter at all. You just need to know your
Well, you
player.
can turn
like
your
your-
you
Ham
can
said.
turn it
It would
off.
be great as 2K to remove the shot meter when playing competitively.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean the thing is that it was just better when you just knew your player's shot mechanic and you know at the height of his jump you let the ball go. Damn a meter, but that makes too much sense in my opinion.
Well, I know. Right now, I feel like it's according to not just like the height of their jump, but just like that player's individual like shot timing. I was good with that. Turn off the shot meter and just learn the player. Just play the game, learn the player, and stick with the team that you're playing with, so you can get these down. It seems like everybody wants to be able to learn everybody's shot instantly.
You know,
Right, right, exactly,
another,
exactly.
another issue that is the reason why they put the meter in. I think NBA Live. Another thing I have to give them credit for is visually you could see when you were holding a shot too long. Now in 2K, their whole shot just plays out without whether you release it on time or not, right? NBA
Right.
Live, you could tell visually, oh shit, I held a shot too long
Hmm.
because the shot will look different. It would either be an elongated release or it would be a quick release that just didn't look right. 2K, the release plays out regardless, and you can't really tell unless you have the shot feedback on. And I agree with Pete Frenna. It takes the suspense away when you see you got a green release. It's like, what the fuck?
Absolutely, I agree. I
I
totally agree
don't
with
have
that.
the meter on, so why am I still seeing this? I mean, sometimes it feels accomplished. Like, oh wow, I got a green release. That's great. But
But that's for
winner. I don't want to see that.
that should be for practice when you're trying to learn your jump shot. But having that in game is just to me. I just find it really I just find it really stupid just to have that because to me, you should know your player and the height of their jump. You should not have to be looking at a meter to find out if you made your shot. When you're taking the shot in real life, you're not looking at a meter to see if you make the shot. You know to let the ball go at the height of your release. That's
Hmm.
just, I mean, that's what you're taught. So I don't know where we got away from that, but like I said, that's where we are now, and it's way too many people asking for this. Like I said, by next game, I would not be surprised. It's just the norm, and it sucks. But I've seen too many people ask for it. It's ridiculous amount of people that's been asking for it. Now, I do not agree with it, but I've seen it. It's like you go on Twitter, it's like a timeline of people just asking for the same thing with no dissent, and maybe one person made dissent, and then it just gets buried with the next 20 people wanting green releases to go in no matter what. And I just never understood that.
I saw people saying there shouldn't be a shot release on layups.
No, it shouldn't be. I don't know why they started doing that on 16 or 17. They started doing that.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it should be a shot release on layups. I don't think it should be a. I don't think it should be. I mean, a shot meter on layup. I don't think it should be a shot meter. Period. But
No, I don't think there should be a shot meter, but I think your timing should be important on layups. Is the point.
that's just like what I said with shots. You let the ball go at the height of your release. That's basketball 101. You should not need a meter for that. You should just look at your player when you shoot the ball, and then when he's at the height of the jump, let go of the button or let go of the stick.
Listen to this.
It's common sense.
Please, for the love of everything, please NBA 2K fix your awful passing mechanic. Oh, well, actually, I agree with that. It alone almost makes 2K 20 unplayable. Then he says, also make badges actually worth something because I shouldn't be missing a wide open three that's an inch from a green release with gold shooting badges, bro.
A basketball shot is a game of inches. You can be off by an inch and the ball could clank off the rim.
Green release, to be honest, isn't even really a sim aspect. If you think about
exactly,
it's almost like number ratings compared to letter ratings, like we talked about.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not even sim, in my opinion, but it's just too many people asking for it.
It's like when you think about Stephen Curry, do you say, "Oh my God, he's going to get a green release"? No, the motherfucker can shoot, close out to him. You know what I'm saying? It's like this green release shit. That's why me and DJ had a conversation about the consistency rating on 2K. The consistency rating on 2K actually plays a big role. If you put that shit up to 100, they probably won't ever miss open shots. If it's on 50, some games Stephen Curry just misses open shots because that's just what happens. That's basketball. There's plenty of times you felt like a shot was going in. Oh my God, my release is perfect. Well, guess what? It missed.
But see, that's what I'm saying. But some people don't look at it like that, and it's a goddamn problem because you have a lot of people thinking it's green, it's good, and it should not be that way.
I think if anything, the badge that they have where you get less of a penalty for not getting a perfect release should be in effect for a guy if you're in a zone where he's a really good shooter from. That I can agree with.
I can understand that.
The whole not missing green release thing.
Yeah, that's the dumb shit. Yeah, that's the dumb shit. I agree.
You shouldn't know you're getting a green release. You should just either get the shot timing or not get the shot timing. You shouldn't know that you got a green release.
Man, like I said, it's like it goes like you have all these different type of jump shot mechanics in the game. You should study the jump shot mechanics, like a Tracy McGrady jump shot, a Ray Allen jump shot. You should study them and know when to release the ball. Some have different releases at different times, like Sean Marion, totally different from a Kobe Bryant, and that's the way it should be. And you should learn, and you should learn that player when you pass the ball to them to shoot the ball. You should not have to be like, oh, it's green no matter what.
But just imagine if somebody said every time they time their swing perfect in MLB The Show, they should hit a home run.
Same difference. It's the same thing. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why that's the case. I don't know. It's stupid. I don't know. Those are the type of things that irks my nerves. And like I said, just don't be surprised if that's the case in the next couple of games because a lot of people are asking for it. Way too many people are asking for it.
Now and all of a sudden I can't find them.
Pelican Man says, oh, hold on. Before I get to Pelican Man, because I know what he's about to say. Let's see. To be honest, shot feedback for me was more better. Shot feedback, I can get with that. Like,
feedback is a lot better than a meter.
Right. Let's see. Ravens, they said they need to have the option to turn off most of this garbage off or just have hardcore for the sim guys, just like shooters. You know what? To be honest with you,
it's just like that golf game that you can turn everything off.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. To be honest, even if they give you and I'm pretty sure they would. I mean, they do it now. If they give you the option to turn all of it off, I can live with that. Long as it doesn't alter the jump shots in general, I'll be okay with just turning them off.
I have a question.
Because I mean, options are okay.
I have a question. Have y'all ever had somebody get a green release and block their shot?
Yes, I've actually had. Yeah,
I've done that. I've done that recently. I've done that yesterday on 2K20.
Okay, so that actually can't happen.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another thing. Let's say you time, I see Shaq's name. So Pete Frenner said, remember Shaq's shot timing on free throws. Let's say you get a perfect release with Shaq from 3. Does that mean it should go in?
No, it should. I mean, no, it shouldn't go in. No. See, that's the problem that I'm saying. See, this is the problem that I'm saying with a lot of people who play in these tournaments or they play in the park or whatever. They don't matter. You could be, anybody that doesn't even have a 3 ball, that's efficient. But if it's green, they feel like it should go in. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's a problem.
It's crazy.
As a matter of fact, to be fair, just for the sake of art.
Oh, good.
I mean, just for the sake of argument, let's be fair. The fact that they don't even have a 3 in their arsenal, they should never even get a green release, regardless.
No, but just imagine. I mean, shit. Like, what was I gonna say? Fuck. What was I gonna say? Like, basically, because like with Shaq, the shot timing, like you say, you shouldn't get a green release, but also it's the fact that if you're taking that shot with him, automatically, if you were using real shooting percentage, I mean, God, I remember the days when me and DJ talked about that. Real shooting percentage.
Which you should be using on 2K anyway.
Smitty was one of the first people that suggested, try use real shooting percentage. The reason why I stopped using real shooting percentage is because it prevented some guys from getting on hot streaks in games, and it would regulate it to where they literally would shoot their shooting percentage. And I didn't like that.
I have no problem with that because that's their real shooting percentage.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, but then that takes away from those games where guys like TJ Warren score 50 points. If their shooting percentage is 40 something and they can't get hot, it's gonna regulate.
Well, I mean, I've done that in my league. I mean, Kobe White have scored 45 before, and I play real player percentage.
Yeah, but Kobe White is a damn good shooter. The point I'm making is it regulates a guy's hot streak sometimes because of his shooting percentage. I don't like that.
I have no problem with it. I'll turn around and do that with Thaddeus Young if I wanted to. Especially if I have the mismatch, I'll score like that. I mean, it just depends on who you're playing with. I mean, real player percentage is way better than user timing because your user timing, that will throw things off because all of a sudden your usering is the problem, the reason why your player is not playing up to their potential. Yeah, you're handicapped in the player.
Well, I mean, that's your fault as a user, though.
That's what I'm saying. But why would Zach LaVine is playing like crazy when you're not doing things right?
But he doesn't. That's the point I'm making. He doesn't do that when you're not using real shooting percentage. But when you're using real shooting percentage, it regulates the streak at which a guy's shots will go in based on his shooting percentage, and I don't like that because there are dynamic things that affect a guy's shooting percentage other than going by the norm of a guy's regular season shooting percentage.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I disagree because I've had the opposite happen in my leagues on various leagues in various seasons throughout me playing. Even goes back to the last generation when I used to play with 2K11. Real player percentage has been it's actually been very successful for me to get in like unsung heroes to be in big games.
I mean, it's just like imagine if you were playing with if they had something called real quarterback accuracy in Madden and you were playing out of your mind with Mitch Trubisky and then all of a sudden he's missing open receivers just for the sake of upholding his completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what 2K kind of does sometimes.
Well, I will flip that to you, and then I've done in Madden. I've taken 65, 69, in some cases even 70 overall rated quarterbacks that has no business throwing for 500 yards, but the fact that the team that I'm playing against is not that good, I was able to put them in a position to be successful.
But that's why but that's because they don't have something in there to govern the guy's throwing percentage.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
If they did, then you wouldn't be able to do that.
Now I'll take the flip side. I did the same thing in NBA 2K. It's like I had the success that you're talking about. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but maybe I'm the anomaly because I still use it to this day. and I still use real player percentage. And like recently, I was just playing 2K20. I just scored like 35 with number 34 with Wendell Carter. And
Tomorrow I'm gonna try it and see.
you know what I'm saying.
I haven't tried it this year, but I don't know, bro. Like I tried it for a couple
And
games.
even with that is I had takeover with Wendell Carter a couple times in the game.
Oh damn.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's basically if your personnel and all of a sudden I'm playing against OKC who has nobody in the that can handle Wendell Carter's inside outside game. I was able to score 30 plus with him. I mean that's just based off personnel, not that has nothing to do with like real player percentage or user timing. It's just that those guys have nobody in the paint.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it tomorrow and see how it works. I haven't used it this year to be honest, but
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that you're wrong because it may limit some streaks, but I mean, I've had success with that. I mean, even before they had takeover, like when they had a little flame next to their name, playing, back in 2K14 or whatever. It's like it's just to me, 2K has done a very good job with just mismatching players, and if you just have a problem with that matchup, you're either gonna get smoked or you're gonna be smoking. I mean, it's just been that way ever since when I've been playing my leagues. It's always been that way. I've never had a real problem. And like I said, I'd rather use that over user timing because there are times like your user timing will screw up somebody's shot percentage because you don't. It just goes back to what I was saying with these guys who don't know how to time a jump shot. Right. Like those people who can't time a jump shot, they want to get the hell away from user timing because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
How would you feel about real player percentage being strictly the thing for online?
I can't answer. I don't play online. I don't know. To be honest,
just based on knowing that you're playing in a mode where you're playing against a user that may try to pull some bullshit.
I would say I would probably lean towards user timing in that because most people who play online aren't looking at it from a sim aspect. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's almost to the same thing we're talking about with Dubby and the rest of those losers. I mean, they want to use everything. They don't want a sim aspect. Most of them don't. Outside of the people who play like with NYK and Beast, we don't know too many people who want to play straight up ball like that. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just that to me, I'm just saying it based on my experience. My experience, I have not experienced what you're talking about. I've been using it religiously. You can even ask Sim F Ball Critic. I told him to use it, and he stands by it. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just that my experience is just I haven't had an issue where it hindered anybody on the court. I just haven't had that.
All right, so for those that probably didn't notice, I went through several picture changes throughout that whole exchange. So just to let everybody know that, I wanted to just share a few pictures from the past. So
I mean, shit, that Devin Booker shot that went in wouldn't have been a perfect release today. That shot he hit against the Clippers. But that's what I'm talking about with that whole perfect release thing, bro. It's like
I hate the whole perfect release thing. I just hate it. These clowns out here they're going to ruin the game. Long as if they hard code that in or they code it to a way it affects everything, even when you turn it off, you're going to have a situation where it's just not going to be a good look for everybody who's playing the game.
I've told people before, man, NBA players are like robots. They have a perfect release 90% of the time to great shooters. It just doesn't always fall. You look at Bradley Beal, you look at these guys warm up before the games, they're drilling everything. But when the game starts, there are different factors that take over.
Too many factors.
I agree.
That's why those shots aren't falling. I mean,
I absolutely agree.
But that's what I'm saying. NBA 2K, NBA Live kind of had it right with their whole way that they governed contested shots and things of that nature. But I don't know. 2K,
but wait a minute. One thing I will add about Live is that I did feel the fatigue on shots in that game more than I did with 2K. Just saying, because it was like there were times in that game I would take shots with Beal and I could already tell he didn't have I felt like he didn't have as much lift as he did at the beginning of the game in like the third, fourth quarter, and it's like, yeah, he's starting to get tired. I can feel it in the sluggishness of the controls. So
And they also
Right.
sliders to affect. Okay, well, how much does shooting off the dribble affect your shot? How much does a contest affect your shot? That was a slider. So
Right.
oh, just to answer the one, Mr. Ham, yeah, all of them was me.
Well, we about to hit the 3 hour mark. What else y'all got before we go?
Yeah, we're way past slave hours.
Yeah, we try to go we try to go between 2 and 2.5, but we're up to 3 because we just had a good conversation.
don't tell Prime we're past slave hours. He's still pitching water.
Oh, and by the way, 2 of those pitchers were from the state championship in '97. So,
You got
including
anything?
the actual touchdown catch was one of those pitchers.
I was only 4 years old.
You got anything, Bills?
Uh, Clint Oldenburg still sucks. Dubby still sucks, and Karl Malone can eat a dick, and that's all I got.
Karl Malone. What about you?
It said
DJ?
Bills and DJ need raises. Anything's a raise from $0.
No, but I'm dead serious, man. These boys need to get paid. They come through here every week, man. He's not lying. He's not lying. I've been telling y'all that for a while, man.
I appreciate it.
I need to make that happen.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
He said you act like we ain't getting paid for this. What do you mean? We act like we not getting paid. I mean, we show up for free, and that's cool, bro. VF is our guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, DJ?
Man, I'm like Dave Chappelle. I would just like to have some this pretty white girl to sing all my thoughts.
Boy, I thought you was about to go in another direction right there. Boy, I like to say, yeah, let's go.
Where's this going?
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, let's go.
Any complaints, thoughts I have, she can go ahead and sing it, and no one will get mad. No one will object. They will just listen to her voice and just stay put. But anyway, yeah, check out my website. It's at dj81.org. I have my blogs and stuff on there. Twitch stream tomorrow night, 7:30. I'm thinking State of Decay 2, possibly. Maybe no. Let's go NBA 2K. I know somebody wants to see me get killed in that game. So, or you can watch me choke in PES.
In PES, man. Jeez.
So basically, hit me up on Twitter to choose the PES, 2K, or State of Decay 2. Your choice.
Do that. DJ81.org is in the description. His Twitch handle is in the description as well. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing something eventually. As far as gameplay, I got a couple of videos already in the can. But as far as streaming, maybe Friday, maybe. I kind of got a system down. I just don't know what day because I got everything set up that I can stream on a whim, but just the days is just all over the place. So I'll get that out the way. Thanks everybody who's been coming through. Pretty good viewership. A lot of people with a lot of feedback, way more than what we thought we can get on for Q&As. A lot of comments and everything. Everything's been great. But other than that, man, we'll be back Thursday. At least we'll be back on Thursday. But as far as gameplay go, DJ on Wednesday, I'll be later on in the week and also have a couple videos up. So other than that, man, anything y'all got, y'all catch us on Twitter. Also join the Discord. That's all that's in the description as well. And I guess you guys be safe out there. You guys be blessed.
Bill said buy Bill's album when it drops.
Absolutely, buy Bill's album when it drops.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, so somebody's. There we go.
All right. So other than that, hey man, we'll see you guys on Thursday. We have more topics for you guys. You guys take it easy. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.
Wear your mask.
Nasty.
That goes without saying, right?